Well, welcome to the Friday Night BS show. Just so you know, this show is nowhere made for children. So if you got kids, please send them to bed. Send them to bed. Also, we got a pretty controversial topic tonight. So if you cannot discuss this topic as an adult, you can leave, and we'll give you time to leave now. All right. Let me make sure that the Facebook group can actually chat. How are you guys doing tonight?
Good.
Good.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Good.
Good. All right. I
Yeah.
want in tonight. Nino Peroni wants in. Should we let Nino Peroni in? Let's let Nino Peroni in as well. Hold on. All right. Here we go. I'll send you the link, Nino. It's in your chat. Go get it. Let's start with Bob. Bob, how's your week been, Bob?
Good. Watching some Cactus League baseball.
Nice.
It's on every day. So other than that, getting some stuff done around the house. Got working on one of my quads, getting it up and running. So I'm good right now.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Nino, the link's in your DM. As soon as you click it, we'll let you in the show. Bruce, how about you, Bruce? How are you doing?
Living for golf, man. I just golfed tournament Wednesday and got first place in my flight, so that's good. It was a good day for golf. Yeah.
What did you win? Did you win one of the Happy Gilmore big checks?
No, I won like $90 on the books. So.
Nice.
So they run a yeah. So you can't get actual cash. So what they do is they put credit on the city golf book. So in the pro shop, I can buy stuff or pay for green fees or cards or something like that out of my bank, as they call it. So.
I always laugh.
Bruce, you ever play out at Saddle Creek?
Yeah, I've done that. We have a group. A gal runs off the side of our group that she does once a month. She does traveling tournaments, and she's tied in with a lot of the country clubs and some of the upper end courses. So we move around to Del Rio and Saddle Creek, and then
Nice.
I kind of go all over the place up to the foothills. Not so much the Bay Area; it's pretty much just the valley and the foothill type areas and stuff like that. But she's got like a whole circuit she does every month. So
Nice.
That's cool.
And let's say hello to Tim. Tim, how are you doing, Tim?
I'm becoming more acute at hitting the mute button now, so I don't sit there and look like a mime half the show. I'm doing well. Some of you already know, but others might be interested. I've taken up my hand in cooking a little, so I'm trying this dinnerly thing. I'm not going to sub. It's all good. It's way too effing expensive for what it is. But
cooking. I actually thought it was LED tanning.
Well, that's a whole other show. That's a whole other show. That's 2 hours worth of me just going full blown nerd on everyone. We don't want to go there. No.
Stick with it, Tim. Stick with it. If you stick with that dinner thing, you're going to become I'll take it back. Not a great chef, but you'll become a pretty good chef once you start. I think if you do it a month, you'll really start to like it.
I'm really doing it to steal the recipes. And I might add, how everybody
Amanda.
Yeah, you
Hey, Amanda.
A certain
Hey, man,
kind
I
of
hope
meat.
you're doing well.
Eat a certain kind of meat, and everybody goes, "What does it taste like?" And then everybody goes, "Well, it tastes like chicken." Okay, well, I've got a parallel for you. So if anybody ever asks you what a freaking parsnip tastes like, just tell them if you season it right and roast it, it tastes like French fries. Tastes like French fries.
Tastes like a French fry.
There you go.
Yeah, Tim had his oil fiasco.
Yeah, I don't. That's a whole other story too. Yeah. That's another. I'm more interested in talking about what we're going to talk about tonight, not my freaking oil issues.
Let's
burn the kitchen down.
No, I just. Do you know what neutral oil is?
I'm a barbecuer. So.
Yeah.
He's a microwave barbecuer, dude.
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't know what neutral oil was either until they forced me to Google it, which I thought was asinine, to go to a second thing to find what they were trying to tell me what it was instead of just telling me what it was.
Bob, can you tell Tim what neutral oil is?
Yes, Bob knows. Bob
I don't
knows.
know. I just use olive oil.
Oh shit!
No,
Yeah.
Anybody?
Tim's the
in
only
this
cook
panel?
on the platform. Maybe Brian knows.
Ryan, well, he knows now, but I don't think he knew before.
He
Yeah.
Googled
No.
Yeah. So for all the inquiring minds, neutral oil just means it's not like a heavy flavored aftertaste, like virgin olive oil, like a really strong flavored oil. It's like vegetable oil, peanut
Yeah.
oil.
Yeah,
They could
Brian.
have just said use vegetable oil.
Yeah,
I didn't have it, so
that's all right.
there you
Mike, how you doing, Mikey?
I'm good. I'm good. Just been a busy week at work, but other than that, not too bad. Just
That's
another
good.
day,
Another day and many
another
dollars.
week.
Another week. And
Yep.
our only guy from North Dakota. What is up, Brian?
Oh, weather is actually pretty nice. We're almost out of snow. That's pretty nice now.
Yeah.
Milton,
That's
huh?
pretty awesome.
sucker!
Yeah, it's been nice and spiffy.
not
out
like
in the stores in a
Kentucky and-
t-shirt.
It's not like Kentucky and flooding, huh?
No,
Yeah.
no, we've
That's
had our
good.
fair
Yeah.
shares of floods.
That's good. All right, let's get into the show. Enough of this. Mike,
Man is having a
What?
bad week.
who out of the panel wants to pick a topic first?
I'm just
You-
answers.
I'm just answers. Nobody
Yeah.
wants to go first. Who wants to talk about Disney's
All right, I'll pick a
choices?
topic.
Well, you can talk about Dr.
No, I'll pick
Seuss.
a topic.
Bob's going to start the
No.
show off with. Go ahead, Bob.
Let me start the show off. Okay, so on the West Coast, especially San Francisco and LA, a lot of Asian people have been attacked lately, and they caught some of this on video and stuff. And it's just like, hey, let's end racism towards Asians. Everything is like let's change how we treat Asians. Let's don't do Asians that way. Okay, look, I got a problem with this. Is number one, you shouldn't be attacking Asians anyway. Okay, so you want to end racism against Asians, then why don't you call out the people that are actually attacking the Asians? Why don't we call out the black community, because they're the ones attacking the Asians? But nobody has said that on the news. Now,
No.
if it was white people doing it, it'd be nationwide, and we'd all be white supremacists and racist. But it's because black people are attacking Asians. They're not going to come out and say that. They're just saying let's end racism towards Asians, but they're not saying who is doing it. And I think that is bullshit.
Yeah, I was looking up that article. I was trying to figure out a little bit more about it, but there's not a lot on it.
No, they bury it.
They buried it. They buried
Media,
it.
if it doesn't play up for the media, they'll bury it.
Did they
after-
get like video of it or something, Bob? Is that
Yeah.
how? Or
They've
did
got video.
I mean,
They've got video of 5 attacks where they're attacking like 80, 70-year-old Asian men and women. Like
Pushing
one guy,
rocks.
this guy just follows her down the street, and there's like a metal pole, and he just shoves her right into it. And
Right.
and the lady's like 90 years old.
fuck?
But every attack that they have on video is a black guy attacking an Asian.
Do they know if it's the same guy?
I think
No,
they
it's different.
do
It's
think.
different people.
No, I
Oh,
thought they
geez.
Because
said
it's
they think,
happening. Go ahead.
yeah, go ahead, Bob. Go ahead. No, I thought
No,
they
it's happening like in
assumed that.
Oakland and in Hayward and in LA, but all these attacks that they have on video, it's a black guy. It's black people attacking Asians,
Yeah.
and I just don't know why they won't call them out in the news.
Yeah, Nob Hill, I think, was the recent one. Nob Hill Laundromat.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's nothing. I went through that article and I was trying to see if they had anything else on there. But it says police documents obtained by KGO that the 3 suspects may be linked into a string of auto thefts. So they think it's the same guys that are ripping off cars too. I don't know how it got from beating up old elderly Asians to 3 guys that are
Mhm.
stealing cars.
Mhm.
Yes, violence targeted Asian community members are on the accident statement. San Francisco Police Union, who's
Nope.
And they're only offering a $2,500 reward for information leading to the trio's arrest. So it's 3
Oh,
guys.
that's it. That's
So
it. Just $2,500. That's all
Yeah.
we can muster up.
Yeah, that's it. $2,500.
Well, they actually caught one of the guys in Oakland, and they caught the guy in Hayward because of video cameras. But like I said, you know what I mean? It's if it was a white guy doing all this, it'd be on the news, and all
Oh,
white people are white supremacists.
It'd be on CNN. It'd be on CBS. It'd be on
Mhm.
It'd be on ESPN.
Oh, it'd be
Wasn't
all
there-
over the place.
Wasn't there some neighborhood group that was supposed to be out patrolling or something like that to try to keep this?
Yeah, no,
under
they
control?
they started doing that in Oakland, in the downtown area of Oakland. They
Right.
did start a neighborhood group similar to what was that group, John, in the 70s and 80s? The Guardian Angels.
Guardian
That was-
Angels.
that was-
Guardian Angels. Yeah.
Yeah, that toured like New York City to help fight crime. But yeah, they have a group now in Oakland that are combing the streets now. But I just think it's messed up that they won't go national news on it and point out black people that are committing crimes.
Because it's minority, unfortunately. So
Yeah, that's
it's not big.
that's
It's not big
No
news.
one's gonna do that, dude. That's the thing about it is like you don't have. The thing is if you show something of a white person committing a crime, you don't have to be worried about losing your job or being labeled a racist. You're just reporting the news.
Yeah.
But if you report on a story where in several different cities and areas and states or whatever, where a minority group is committing the same crime, like they're just gonna go, oh well, you're just putting spotlight on it because you're racist, and no one's gonna lose. No network's gonna put that out there. Even if the network wanted to, all the anchors wouldn't want to do it because they'd be afraid of it. Because it's not there's no, you're not racist if you call out white people.
They can't
So,
label it.
Nope. That's
I'm
why I think we
surprised
should
this
change the name of this.
hasn't been
We should change the name of this this here podcast to the Privileged Podcast.
The privilege.
Hell yeah.
No, there was
Six
a,
white
This didn't even
heterosexual males.
This didn't
Yeah.
even go
There's so
national,
much
which
fucking
is
privilege
shocking.
on this damn cast.
Yeah, this
week-
that didn't even go national. This article,
Yeah.
it's
Are
pretty
you
much
serious? That's crazy.
there was an anchor in Phoenix who worked for Fox News, and she had been on there for like 15 years. She was the number one news anchor in Phoenix, and she quit. She quit, and she said that I'm not doing the news anymore because of what they want me to read as opposed to what really happens in news.
Yeah,
She goes, I can't put up with it anymore. I'm done.
she didn't want to play the tilt.
Yep,
Wow.
she quit.
Okay, well, here's something new. March 5th, this was March 5th, 2021. A woman arrested in anti-Asian attack in Mountain View.
Mountain Dew, damn.
Wow, that's kind of high end for attacks.
A woman has been arrested Friday in connection with 2 crimes targeting Asians in Mountain View last month, aimed at an ongoing rise in anti-Asian attacks in the Bay Area and across the country. So this is going on across the country?
Well, I know
According
what's
to the
going
police-
on in San Francisco and in LA and
Yeah.
Oakland because you see it on the local news.
Yeah. Yeah, it says going on. I didn't see anything of this being nationwide. You would assume something
I
like
haven't
this.
heard nothing about this.
I heard nothing about the.
I mean,
I heard about
like
the attacks.
last year and stuff, you heard people being stupid and being racist towards Asian people because of the whole COVID
Corona.
thing, but
Yeah, where the virus.
but
came
I
from.
haven't heard anything about this recently about people getting attacked and stuff.
Yeah, I heard about the attacks, but I had no idea it was a nationwide thing. And this article says it's nationwide, and I don't know if I'm allowed to pull her picture up. But God, she's a work of art. This woman here. Let's see here.
What woman?
The one
What are you
that
talking
got
about?
arrested in Mountain View. huh?
Yeah, let's see here. Here you go. I think I can do this. Can you see her face?
Oh,
That's her.
Oh, wow.
Is that a Karen?
I don't know who that is, but
Might be a Karen.
she supposedly is the suspect that attacked that elderly Asian woman in Mountain View.
It could be
So-
a Karen thing.
It looks like she could be liberal.
It doesn't look like a conservative cowboy, but you never know. So, but
The suspect is identified as a 39-year-old Karen. Her name is Karen. That is just too fucking funny.
am I good? Am I good or what?
Oh
huh?
my God, dude.
Can I call it? Looks like a Karen.
Oh my God, dude, spot on, Bruce. Friday after she allegedly attempted to steal candy and ice cream at the Smart and Final store on the 100th block of East El Camino Real. Police say there is no identification she made. Racial comments, driving. Yeah, it's just weird. That is just so fucking funny.
I don't think it almost sounds like that was the end result, that there was a conflict with an
Her
Asian
name is
person, but
Crystal Metheny.
that's not necessarily how it started out.
That's her
No, I
stripper
don't think
name.
so either. And I-
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure if she's trying to steal candy and stuff, she's probably either homeless or on drugs or something.
Yeah. I don't think it started out as an Asian attack. I think it started out as something else.
Her teeth.
And the
say
media is
she's
going to
on
make it
drugs.
something else. Again, the tilt.
It says hate crimes have not and will not be tolerated in Mountain View. That's what they wrote. That's what the police chief said. Oh
Well,
God.
I mean, face it. If there's any type of a conflict between any nationality, they're gonna call it. The media is gonna twist it to a racial.
Everything's a hate crime.
Everything's a hate crime. It's a twist.
No, everything isn't a hate crime. People are just shitty.
Yeah.
Are people just realizing this?
Yeah.
Shitty people comes in all shapes, sizes, and colors. Okay.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah, they do.
I don't get what people like this. That's just so stupid.
But I mean, it's just easier to drop that name tag on it because it's the new norm now. For media and everything else, it's a tag name, tag word, tag. It's a tag.
Yeah, that's insane, though. That's insane. I mean, you watch some of those videos; it's pretty brutal.
I mean,
Well,
Dr.
what
Seuss
was
got
the game that the kids were doing? Well, they called it a game, but what was the game that the kids were playing before, where they were just sucker punching people blind? Just
Knockout.
walking around?
Knockout game.
Yeah, the knockout
game.
game. Yeah,
knockout
and so
game, yeah.
I feel like that was, mostly aimed the same direction. You didn't see like inner city white kids playing that game.
No.
It was just random people, and then even like almost right leading up to the transfer of the administration, you saw some of that happening with elderly people. It was like random elderly people were being pushed down and attacked, and I feel like the moment that they focused that on TV, because the majority of the networks are not conservative. Most of them are left leaning. They're mostly liberal. And then it's like, you're playing the whataboutism game. And like Mike said, then it's like all of a sudden you're going to get that label as though, well, you're just, the moment you put that up, you're trying to highlight it, automatically makes your network racist. So they avoid it like the plague.
Everybody's avoiding it. It's getting wild. Like the things that I've been seeing this week and stuff like this, it's funny that like we decided to talk about like the stuff we're going to talk about tonight, because I've just been thinking about it. So
Johnny got pissed off. I can't take anymore. They want to take
it's crazy. Like
away.
I just saw there's this guy named there's this country singer named Luke Combs.
Yeah.
And he came out and he was in a video with this kid called Upchurch. Okay. And this kid Upchurch, he's a country like rapper. But he was born in the South. I mean, this kid's his hillbilly and his redneck.
Wait, isn't he the one that does that commercial with the horse, and he's doing the one with who the hell's in
Old Town Road?
Old Town Road, yeah.
No, that's the kid that sings that song. Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah.
No. That's a young black kid. This is a young white kid that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And he did a song with Luke Combs, and Luke Combs is a very famous, like top of the charts country singer right now.
Right.
And he has been for the last couple of years. But like 5 years ago or something, he did a song with this kid Upchurch, and in the background, I think it was at the kid Upchurch's house or something, there's a Confederate flag hanging on the wall because this kid was born and raised in the South. It ain't like he's not like a white supremacist or anything. He's just one of those kids that was raised in the South, and they consider that the Southern flag. They don't consider it the Confederate flag. They call it the Southern flag. And so now, 5 years later, this guy all of a sudden gets up and apologizes about being in that video with that flag. And I'm like, I didn't see nothing on the internet of anybody saying anything about it or nothing. It's just people are just coming out and I've seen, and I love how people I've recognized now. I've seen the light and all this stuff. It's like the next day they come out and apologize. I've just been talking to people and they've informed me, and I'm like, what are you, 12? Like, you just don't know life? Like, all of a sudden you're just informed now on all these you just have all these epiphanies, and now you're apologizing.
And this is going into
it's ridiculous
public life, like the judges going back to their high school years when they were at a party. It's 40 freaking years ago.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And like Drew Brees apologizing for what he said about the national anthem. He didn't say nothing wrong. He just said, I'm always going to stand for it because my family's military. Yeah. And then, of course, he goes and freaking apologizes, and he didn't say anything wrong. He wasn't hating on it. He was just saying, I consider it disrespect, and there's a hell of a lot of people that do.
Yeah,
if you don't, that's fine.
They're all apologizing right now. It's ridiculous.
Everybody's apologizing, and,
everybody.
And it's literally about that's what makes it such a big thing when somebody won't. That just makes me. I'm like, man, that takes balls, and it just shows because like all these people are apologizing for doing nothing wrong.
Nothing. Well, I was telling earlier before we got online, before we started live, but Sarah Silverman got on her podcast the other day and apologized to Paris Hilton for something she said in 2007 during the MTV Music Awards. I was like, now that to me, I mean, when you think raunchy comedy, female raunchy comedy, there's very few of them. So Sarah Silverman's like right there up the top. If you took raunchy comedy away from her, she's no longer funny anymore. Now you got her.
There's a redhead that's always hanging the Trump doll, the Trump head. She didn't do that with Trump.
Oh yeah, and that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah. But if somebody did that to an Obama, shit.
Yeah, I mean, for her to get on her podcast and sit there and apologize to Paris Hilton of all people for something she said to Paris, and it was hilarious.
No one gives a shit.
No one does.
Personally, I could care less because I
had no idea it happened.
The celebrities think because I don't value their opinion, their goals, the objectives, or their whatever they got. It's like they're not something.
Yeah, it's just like who was that comedian? Who was that comedian at the award show? That comedian that said
the British
all that
guy.
stuff.
Oh, he roasted everybody.
Ricky Jarvis.
He roasted everybody.
Ricky Gervais.
Oh yeah,
or Gervais.
Yeah,
sorry,
he stood up and he told them. He goes, "We don't care about your opinion. No one cares about your opinions because you guys don't live normal life.
No,
you guys aren't out here living with these people and living their life. So that's why people tell you your opinion doesn't matter because you are talking to people that live a normal everyday life in the real world. You guys are all surrounded on your private jets and your security and all this other bullshit. It's all good for you to want to make everybody feel like a victim and make everybody feel entitled. We're the ones that have to live with people that feel entitled. We're the ones that have to deal with that every day. You don't.
You think about it though. Think about how many years they've been making fun of Harvey Weinstein. All these years, and everybody knew this thing that was going on. Everybody knew about it.
right
all
hand
knew
of
about
presidents.
Yeah, and yet they continue to let him go, but yet we should listen to their political views and ideas on how we should live when they're letting a fucking guy go around raping women in hotel rooms and making jokes about it. And now
And
we should listen to
they
them.
knew it. The only reason they never said anything is because one, they were afraid that he could get their career ruined,
Right.
or he was making them money.
Yeah.
That was it. But still,
Well,
to make jokes about it for years.
The other thing is it's kind of a lopsided thing because they're trying to hang Kavanaugh for something he supposedly did when he was in high school with a girl, right? But then you got Como and all those other people that the celebrities do fundraising for and all that crap. And as soon as he gets tagged for something, they're all quiet.
Yeah.
Not
Well,
Oh, yeah.
Cuomo's got
I mean-
Cuomo's got 3 girls now. Cuomo has 3 allegations now, and he's still not going to resign.
He's a player. Oh,
Well, I mean,
I don't
so
know.
I mean,
even
Hollywood,
even the stuff with
Hollywood's-
him,
they're so flip flop. They're like fish.
they are.
fish
Yeah,
on a
they
frying
are.
pan, you
But
know?
that's my beef. You want me to listen to you. You want me to respect you guys' opinion, but yet you let a guy rape fucking women for 20 fucking years. You let this guy do this. I don't care if he's making you money. I don't care if you're afraid he's going to ruin your career. I don't give a shit. You guys, all of Hollywood knew that this guy was raping fucking women,
A
and
bunch
yet
of hypocrites.
I should listen to your opinion on how
and
I
what
should live my life.
about Bill Cosby? You're
Oh,
telling
yeah,
me that
he's another
nobody
one.
knew about that nonsense?
Everybody knew about that. There was
Come
jokes about
on.
that going on for years.
I mean,
Yeah.
come on. You're telling me no one knew what Bill Cosby was doing? This guy was straight up date raping girls, and nobody. I mean, for years. How many
For
women
years.
was it? Wasn't it like almost 100?
Oh, it's a
Yeah.
it's a crazy fucking number, dude. It's a
I think it was
crazy
like
number.
75 or some bullshit like that. I'm like, and
Yeah.
nobody knew? Yeah, kiss my ass. Like,
Yeah, but we got to listen to them, Mike. We have to live our lives according to the
Yeah,
way they say
bullshit.
we
I
should
know.
live our
Gospel of
lives.
Hollywood. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah. But they're going around raping each other. I mean, if they were raping themselves, what the fuck? I mean, but shit, they had women, for 20, 30 years. And I think, like all those people that were involved, they like they say the secretary shouldn't be in trouble for it. And I'm like, bullshit, why shouldn't she be in trouble? She knew what the fuck was going on.
Mhm.
She could have said something to those girls. I wouldn't go in that room with him, or I wouldn't go into that hotel room with him. I wouldn't meet him alone. But no, she's walking them in there and setting up appointments like they're just a regular scheduled appointment.
There's a lot of skeletons in Hollywood's history.
I mean, I'll take the money. I just don't want the fame and all the other nonsense that goes with it.
Mhm.
I just think that whole
you gotta
Go ahead,
either
Tim.
play along or keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
Go
ahead, Tim.
more or less what I was going to say. I just feel like that whole Hollywood conglomerate is nothing more than a bunch of egos who are afraid to get blackballed if they come out and say something against against their own, because they don't want to be ostracized because there's too much money at stake and careers at stake,
Yeah.
and
But
so
they're
they
also quick-
let shit fly under the radar constantly,
Yeah,
and
but they're always
they
quick to jump
shield
on
it.
the
They shield it.
bandwagon.
And then, of
Yeah.
course, it's almost political at the end of it all because now that that skeleton comes out of the closet, it's like all of a sudden none of them had anything to do with it. I wasn't anywhere near it. I wasn't involved. I wasn't involved.
Oh,
What
yeah,
happened?
I'm telling you.
What happened to the
Yeah.
What happened to what's his nuts' list?
Yeah.
Epstein.
Jeffrey Epstein's list.
Yeah.
I-
Yeah. There's
Oh,
another
that's
one.
chock full
why
of
they got
names.
that's why they got him the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Anybody that doesn't think
Well,
that fool
plus-
was killed is an idiot.
Go ahead,
They
Bob.
got him
I
out of
think
here
that's
so
part
damn
of the-
fast.
I think that's part of the conspiracy about Biden winning the election because Epstein's going to go away now. No one's going to
Epstein
talk about it because there's a lot of guys sitting in Congress like Chuck Schumer, who, by the way, is in Heidi Fleiss's Black Book.
Yeah.
Nadler. I mean, there's a bunch of guys. Bill Clinton. There's a bunch of guys who went to Epstein's Island. That's
yeah.
part of why
Even
Trump's not
even royalty.
Yeah, even royalty.
Oh no, that's why I'm telling you, they got that guy out of here. He got off on so many things, and that was obviously he had help.
Yeah.
And then once it got too big and they couldn't get him off, they just
Yeah.
had him killed.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Mysteriously suffocated in his cage all by himself.
Yeah, come on. The guards fell asleep or whatever, and
All
the cameras went
out.
down.
Yeah, all the $1 million
Come on, we're
surveillance
talking
system.
about high security prison,
Yeah.
a high profile guy in the security camp.
Yeah.
Come on, like nobody actually believes that nonsense. Like,
Well,
you
we're all pretty much stupid and believe whatever the media and
Yeah.
people
the
will
problem
tell us,
is there's nothing we can do about it. Like we know they did it. I mean, and that's what I'm saying is the crazy thing about that is it's like, okay, they did it. That's how dangerous he was. They did that so blatantly. Like they didn't even try to hide it. I mean, it was literally like there. I mean, an idiot could tell that guy was taken
Well,
out.
that's that's
And
the
they
Clinton
did it
hit
in our
list too.
faces. Like we don't care if they know we were doing this.
Yeah.
We need him gone.
Yeah, well, the Clintons, they mysteriously die when you cross the Clintons. You know that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And nobody does a deep dive on that, or nobody credible, because they're afraid they'll get it too. I mean, so they keep like a list. Supposedly they keep like a list of all the people that suspiciously died during all the presidencies, and the Clintons. I think it's like they have like it's like
They're in the
10
hundreds.
times. It's like 10 times any other presidency.
Well, it starts back
people that have
starts back before he was governor in Arkansas.
Yeah, it starts way back.
Yeah,
way back.
Yeah, they say that it's like 10 times more people than anybody else during any other that they suspiciously died.
Yeah, and a lot of people forget what Hillary. Everybody kind of forgets that Hillary's first role. I mean, her first role in as far as you being spotlighted was back in the Nixon. She was part of that law team that went against him in Watergate. I don't know if a lot of people know that.
Yeah, she was a prosecutor.
Yeah,
she was an attorney.
Yeah. What happened? Did Bob pass out?
I like when Bob Friday Night Delight. Maybe he's getting a little Friday Night Delight.
He's gonna go get himself a whole beer.
His date showed up.
Yeah, the pizza guy. That's his date.
Pizza guy.
Fucking Domino's showed up with his pizza.
and then now the latest thing on the news is Dr. Seuss books that are 80 years old now all of a sudden
they're no good no more.
They're bad. I mean, it's been out for 80 years.
Nino, hold on, guys. Nino, just click the link. Nino, you have to. It'll take you into Chrome. You have to have Chrome on your cell phone or on the laptop or tablet that you're using, and it'll bring you right in. Nino, I'll help you in chat. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, no, but supposedly I don't know. I've been seeing little stuff here and there on like the Dr. Seuss and the Mr. Potato Head thing, and supposedly whoever owns it, the company themselves are the ones that have decided to make the changes. It's not like people. But that's the point. That's what people are saying is people are like, oh, why are you guys mad about it? The companies are the one making the choices.
No, it isn't.
I'm like, yeah, we get
that way. Yeah, and that's what the media doesn't play up. It wasn't that they decided randomly. They got a bunch of peer pressure from a bunch of educators, other people that they call educators.
Well, yeah,
came back and said,
the fact that they're doing it.
Your books are da-da-da-da. And they said, before this becomes a major thing, we're just going to not republish them.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's the fact that they're doing it. It's the fact that that these companies are choosing to do this stuff. It's just showing people that everybody just has to be so butthurt and so sensitive and just be victims about everything. It's like who cares if they're the ones making the choices? You're still setting a bad example.
These companies are seeing what's going on.
Say eBay and Amazon, they're taking it off the market, so you can't even buy it.
Yeah, they see what Disney's doing. They see what Coca-Cola's doing. They see what these other companies are doing. I get
how to be not less white at Coca-Cola.
Yeah, that one's a whole different thing. But yeah, I mean, a lot of these companies are just afraid, and it kind of blows me away because they really, if you really look at it, they don't have the numbers. These they really don't, because I talk to a lot of them, and a lot of them don't give a crap. They don't understand where are these people coming from that have all this hate.
And 1%er.
There
The
are
1%ers.
less than 1% of the population gives a shit about what fucking Dr. Seuss books say. Or even for myself, I never even noticed that whatever character on the Dr. Seuss book was an Asian. I didn't know. I didn't give a shit. I was trying to learn how to read. I wasn't paying attention to what the characters look like.
Well,
Well,
so
yeah,
I mean,
it's
he's
just
is Asian. You're not stereotyping him. I mean, they wore the rice hats in that day and age and everything else. So it's not a
Exactly. We're
stereotype, you
talking
know.
about, yeah, exactly. That's the other thing I think a lot of people forget, that there's, what's next? I mean, are you going to start wiping out all these famous books that have been written? I mean, what are they going to go after Huckleberry Finn? Is that another one they're going to go
Yeah,
after?
No, I mean,
they are.
you can look
They've
at
already been
any
after
book.
Huckleberry Finn.
You can look at any book and interpret that there's some form of racism, hate speech,
Yeah.
something in it. I mean, if you look at anything long enough, you can make that determination yourself
Yeah.
or misinterpretation yourself to sit there and say that, you know, hey, John, I don't like lima beans. So guess what?
So racist,
yeah. What was
Bruce.
wrong with
You're
what was
racist.
wrong with
I'm a
You're
racist.
Dumbo
I don't
and
like
the
lima beans. So guess what? I'm that 1%er. So you know what? Because I don't like lima beans, you guys can't have them. So we're
Yeah.
taking them off the market.
All right, let me break down what's going
Okay,
on
hold
with
on,
Disney
hold on.
as far.
Mike asked a question. Hold on.
I'm
Mike
going
asked
to
a
answer
question.
it.
He said, "What's wrong with Dumbo?"
Go ahead, Bob.
Okay.
With who?
There's a scene in Dumbo where
Oh.
Dumbo flew and fell asleep in a tree, and you got four crows in black voices.
Oh yeah.
And there's a song
Okay.
and there's a song called "When I See Elephants Fly."
Right.
Yeah.
But you got four crows looking at Dumbo asleep on a branch, and they're all in black voice. Because this guy's the leader of the crows is like, well, I seen a house fly,
Yeah.
I've seen a dragon fly, I've even seen a horse fly. But the
Yeah.
dangest thing I've ever seen is when I see an elephant fly. That's why it's racist.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Now, okay, let me get to the details of this, because they are not taking it off. You still can watch Peter Pan. You can still watch Dumbo. You can still watch the Aristocats, but it will no longer be available for the children to watch. So you can watch it as an adult, but of course you're going to now see a disclaimer
Yeah.
when the
Mhm.
movie starts, and they're going to.
Because it's rated R now.
Well,
I don't know if
they already had a disclaimer on some of those shows for
some
the
of
kids to
them.
watch them. And what these did is, if you set up a kid's profile, like I have one because my daughter,
Right.
and what it does is it takes them off that kid's profile and puts them on the adult profile instead, and
Yeah.
that disclaimer kind of goes away now.
Okay.
I
But you
think.
still see it as an adult. No, it says you still see it as an adult. When the movie starts, you will still see that disclaimer, even if you're on the adult count.
That's why I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if they
Yeah.
kept the disclaimer or not. But
Yeah.
I know it moved and all that stuff. But I do know that
Yeah.
on the kids stuff, they actually put more disclaimers on it, if I remember
Yeah.
correctly.
Yeah, it says those titles flagged for, let's see here. Yeah, the people of culture. Yeah, so you'll still see it. You'll still be able to see it, but it'll be adult Disney Plus profiles. So you'll still see the disclaimer on there. And they did Dumbo was the actual part what Bob talked about. Peter Pan is for the native people in a stereotyped manner, reflecting neither the diversity of the nation, native people.
Give me a fucking break.
Well,
Okay.
they changed it, in the Disney thing. Remember the Pirates of the Caribbean, where the pirate was chasing the winch? Well, because the women
took
thought
that
that was bad, so they changed it to chasing a dog or something now.
Yeah.
They actually changed the whole animation thing.
The Swiss family Robinson, the pirates who let's see what.
Oh shit! Damn, I haven't heard of that in forever.
Yeah, no, me neither.
The Aristocats is because of the Asian. They're upsetting the Asian population because of the Eastern Asian.
Are they really? Are they really?
They're Chinese cats.
I haven't
Are you serious?
seen.
That's what
I haven't
it is,
seen
'cause they're
mobs of
Chinese
Asians, protest downtown over this.
Let me tell you right now, Asians don't give a shit. They're out there making money.
Yeah.
Well, you have to think though
in
too.
doing homework.
You have to think though too is like when these movies were actually made,
Exactly. Yeah.
and like the mindset of that time frame. So like Bob and John, like
Yeah.
think like when you guys were younger, like if somebody said like if somebody told you a specific like race, like if I just said Asian, you would picture certain things in your head right away of like what just in general like an Asian would look like, or
Hold
like
on. I'm gonna mute
so
myself.
and so would look like. And that's kind of the mindset of those movies and stuff. Is that
I didn't know that Siamese twins was like an Asian thing.
no, but
Yeah, no,
usually Asian.
the old country of Siam is basically modern day Thailand and like that in Vietnam. But there was an old country before called Siam, so that's where the Siamese twins come from, or the Siamese cats.
Oh,
If
and
you've
so
ever
they're
seen the
just
movie
mad that they're in there.
Yeah, if you've ever seen the movie The King and I with Yul Brynner, he's the king of Siam.
Yep.
And I don't. But so they're mad because the cats are called
They wear the
Siamese
rice.
twins.
They wear the rice hats and they have the Asian mustache.
Oh,
Well, no, it's how they sing the song, though. It's how they
Yeah.
sing their song called "We Are Siamese, If You Please,"
Yeah.
but it's
Oh.
sung in an Oriental voice.
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah. Well, here you go. Dumbo was made in 1941. Peter Pan was made in 1953. Swiss Family Robinson, 1960. The Aristocats in 1970. So,
But you got to remember we're fighting with the Chinese and Vietnam and North Korea and all that stuff, and World War II with the Japanese. So we were kind of having Asian conflicts back in
Not
those
just this
days.
bullshit anymore.
Yeah.
Wait, I have a question though. If it's offensive to Asians, how come the Germans aren't getting pissed off? We kicked their ass and we make fun of them when Hogan's here.
How about the
nobody
French?
Speaking of,
Yeah. Or the
speaking of,
English.
go ahead, Brian.
that's why Amazon changed their logo, their little icon, because it looked like Hitler.
Okay.
Their little
heard
like
that. I heard
smile
that
with
too.
the blue tape,
Their icon.
and then they changed it to a little flap that sticks up now, so it doesn't look. It looked like a Hitler mustache and a smile. That's why they changed it.
That was hilarious when I saw that, Brian. I was like, "Are you frigging kidding me?" I never
Shit's
even
getting-
looked at it that way.
People are getting crazy. Freaking Demi Lovato put out a thing saying that
Fuck
gender
Demi Lovato.
she put out a thing saying that what was it? Gender reveal parties are transphobic.
Right.
Um,
Because there are little boys with vaginas there's little boys with vaginas and little girls with penises. They don't know what they want to be yet.
hey, it all still comes down to a bat or a glove, man. Right, Bob? Either you got the bat or you got the glove.
Hold on here.
Hold on, Tim. We can't hear you.
Tim, we can't hear you, brother.
Sorry.
He's muted.
I was going to say, it's not up to other people to decide how parents want to rear their children or bring them into the world.
Right.
You don't have to tell me I can't have a gender reveal party because you think it's transphobic. It's not your child. If I'm hoping for a boy or a girl and I want pink or I want blue, that's my decision, not your decision to quantify me and tell me I'm transphobic. If my kid grows up 15 years later and decides, okay, I'm really inside the wrong body, and I want, I'm really a girl, let them make that decision. But don't convince parents who haven't even seen the baby yet, this mother's like, all I really wanted was a girl, but I can't do that now because the world says I'm being transphobic.
Well,
fuck,
then
fuck all of y'all. Not you guys, but I mean, fuck everybody.
Where's the science on this? I'll believe the science on all this fucking COVID bullshit. But when it comes to
raising,
when it comes to genders, like no, we're just gonna, the exception is now the rule. And we're just gonna not go with science. It's just all about how we feel. Well,
California
facts don't care about your feelings.
Yeah.
And neither do I.
Read California just passed a bill, and I think Walmart's gonna be the first one doing it. They're taking out the boys section and the girls section.
Yeah.
And they're combine them together, and call it like unisex or whatever. But it's no longer going to be the boys section or the girls section.
That is the truth. Everyone's in everyone's business, and it's just gotten to the point where
Yeah.
people are just going to start losing it. It's slowly happening. You're seeing it slowly happen. I mean, okay, look, there's a lot of hot topics that are out there that could have pissed me off. But the one that really, okay, you guys are all going to laugh, but we talked about it. But the one that pissed me off was the Grease one. That movie is just such a big part of my growing up. And it's just like, and it's like,
What's the problem with that?
They want to ban Grease.
Slut shaming.
For
and all
Slut
shaming, a bunch of other
Slut
stuff.
shaming?
Yeah.
Rizzo
or whatever.
Yeah, that one, and they say that John Travolta was too rapey. Some of the scenes were too rapey.
He was too rapey.
Too rapey.
Yeah. Well, you want to know the truth though?
What
okay,
was
fine.
that based on? What, the 70s or the 80s or what?
79, 78.
The first Grease.
Yeah, the first.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
80s.
When was that based on? It was based on.
It was based in the 50s.
It was based on the 50s.
60s.
Yeah, 60s. Yeah, because it was.
I'm pretty sure girls were being sluts back then, just like they were now. So
I don't know, Bob, because that was the
50s.
That was
50s.
Yeah, it was
just
50s,
saying.
Bob. That was 50s. No,
Look at the cars.
There was a Bel Air in there.
Yeah, it was 1950s.
Yeah, because that's when they
No.
were.
When they were doing National Bandstand, I thought they had a date on there. Okay, hold on here. I'm looking up. Keep talks amongst yourselves.
From Travolta.
come on, Brian. This is where you're supposed to be.
Well, like
typing away.
so when I grew up, even in my high school, like you always knew like the girls that like would seem like they sleep around or did sleep around, and the ones who didn't. And so that to me happens everywhere. So you can't just say like this projects that because of like this little factor. But we all know what happens. You can't just get rid of it. You can't just make it stop. Like,
oh yeah,
that's
so
always going to be there.
It's okay for girls to go out and be sluts because I've known a few in my lifetime, and by few I mean a lot. And so we're just going to act like they don't exist. Like, so they can just go out and be sluts, but we're not supposed to talk about it. We're not supposed to act like that's not a real thing. We're not supposed to act like I haven't had girls that have fucked my buddy one weekend and then fucked another one of my buddies the next weekend and then trying to come home with me the third weekend from the bar and walk into my room and fuck me. Like, we're just supposed to act like that just doesn't happen. That doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Hey, Mike, it's stereotype, and you can't stereotype people.
Yeah, 1958.
Not politically correct.
1958. And 1958 is the summer of 1958. It says.
I thought it was the 50s. Yeah.
I was never a fan of that movie because I don't like musicals and all that bullshit. But was he being?
But here you go.
He was playing two roles.
What are they basing it off of?
But see,
I don't really know that movie that well.
You weren't a fan of that movie, so basically you did what, Mike? You didn't watch it, right?
Well, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. No, I get what you're saying. Yeah, if you don't like it, don't watch it. Turn it off.
Watch it.
But I'm just saying, like, what was it in there? I mean, was he just being flirty with the girls, and that's what they're saying, or what?
Yeah,
he was playing two roles. He was trying to kiss up to the girl he was really interested in, to her, but around his buddies, he was acting like the tough macho guy that didn't care about the girl and
to
him, and
I kind of remember that.
Yeah,
sing it, Tim. I know you know the words.
Well, what were they saying was like rapey and stuff or misogynistic?
I think it's probably just mannerisms. I mean, but my whole argument with the whole thing is what they're trying to pad people from. You know, this padding, like by getting rid of it. Dude, spend an hour on
fucking Brandon.
Spend an hour on TikTok or Snapchat, or those kids are more brutal to each other than any movie that was representative of the 50s will ever be. I mean, same thing applies to "Baby It's Cold Outside." They had to pull that fucking song because that was too rapey because he was trying to like hold her against her will or being suggestive, and I'm like. You are so not in touch with the youth of America today. They are the most evil, brutal, nasty kids you'll
and
ever
they want
meet.
to talk about people sexualizing women and stuff. I mean, what do you think? I would like to know the number of girls now that their career or income is based off of them posting half nudie photos online.
On TikTok, online,
on Instagram, on OnlyFans.
That's how they become a celebrity.
That's all it is. Girls are just like, I'm going to be an Instagram model. And what are they doing? They're not showing off their new flowy dress. They're showing off their new thong, their new bikini, all this bullshit. And it's all about sex. And yeah, that's totally fine.
Yeah.
But
Go ahead, let Bob talk. Go ahead, Bob. Bob's got his finger up.
You're bringing all this up. This is fantastic. I find it ironic that Cardi B "Wet Ass Pussy" is the song of the year.
Yeah.
You want to ban Dr. Seuss?
I know. Yeah. Well, how about that? Have the rap music that you hear going down
and they
the
wonder
street
why
in full volume.
13-year-olds are having babies.
That one made me laugh. I don't know who posted that in our chat, but I was like, "There you go. That image should be. Anytime someone brings something up like that, I think we should flash that image." Yeah. Okay.
Well, or what's her name? Who's that big girl that
Lizzo.
was at Lizzo was at a massive public event, an NBA game, with her ass out.
Yeah.
And shaking it in front of the cameras. Like,
Mike,
come on.
Well, Mike, with that is one of the more popular types of music is like the rap hip hop industry.
Well, that's they are the number one genre.
Right. So, but in their lyrics and their songs and all that stuff, a lot of it is women scantily clad stuff, and them being hoes and bitches and all that stuff.
Oh, trust me, I know. I've been listening to that shit since I was a kid.
No, that's why I'm talking to you about it, because I figured probably know a bit
more
about
I know
it.
all about all the
if
hip
you
hop
take like that big genre and like that message that's kind of being put out like that, like how do you expect like the younger generation doesn't know like what it's about, how to react? Like they might try to act like that because it's the more popular thing.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's true. I mean, come on, trust me. I remember even when I was in high school. So look, I'm only 30. And when I was
I'm not far away from you, man.
We're talking 16 years ago. When I was a freshman, we were not. I mean, we were still like playing kissy face and bullshit like that. Yeah, some of us were like getting hand jobs and like maybe some of us were having sex, but it was few and far between. We didn't really start having sex till like 16, 17 years old. And even then it was like a huge deal. Like, oh, I had sex with my girlfriend type shit. And now people are just busting it down at like 13 years old, like it's nobody's business. Just like, oh, I don't give a shit. Like it's whatever. 13-year-olds are getting pregnant. Like, dude, when there was somebody pregnant when I was in high school, it was like a big fucking deal. Like, holy shit, this girl's pregnant. Yeah. Like now, it just is what it is. It's just all over the place now.
1976, I was in 8th grade. And this black girl in class, Renee Adams, got pregnant. And we thought that was like, oh, the Scarlet Letter, dude. We're like, what the? How did somebody in 8th grade get pregnant?
Holy shit.
Yeah, 8th grade.
But the thing is now is that's what I'm saying. And a lot of it has to do with music and all this shit. It's all just, especially the girl stuff. It's all got to be sexual. It's all, like you said, red-ass pussy. Like, really?
I mean, you see the way these younger girls dress now? It's like...
Oh, yeah. The way these girls dress now, it's ridiculous. There's just no self-respect. And when guys say stuff like that, it's like, oh, you're being controlling because you want your girl to cover up. Or you're being misogynistic because you don't, just because I dress like a slut doesn't mean I need to be treated like one. I'm like... Yeah. It's just like, no, I'm not saying that. Obviously, just because you dress like a slut doesn't mean you should be handled or fondled or raped or something, anything against your will or anything you don't want.
Right.
But it's just all about self-respect, and that's what I've always said. Like you don't have any respect for yourself. Why do you think anybody else is going to respect you?
I was raising.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's right. But it's gonna happen. That's life. People are human. Like that's what's gonna happen. You're gonna get guys catcalling you and and all this other bullshit because of the way you're acting and the way you're dressed.
Yeah.
I was raising my niece, and she was 16 at the time. And back then, MTV's 16 and Pregnant was on MTV.
God,
Oh
that
yeah,
shit
And she's
was
walking
that's
through the
great.
house
That's what we
going,
need to show everybody,
you know,
right?
yeah, no, she's walking through the house going, I want a baby. I'm
Oh,
like,
God.
why? You're 16. And she goes, so I can be on MTV 16 and Pregnant.
Yep.
No,
That's
no,
not
that's
life.
stupid.
That's not real
No.
life.
No, it's
That's
not.
that's what these kids don't get about it. They see all this bullshit on social media and stuff, and people think that's people's real lives. I'm like, yo, like that is the one thing they're showing you. They're not showing you where they have to get up and go to work and pay the damn light bill. They're not showing you their normal life. It's this one moment, da 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 da, and that's it. That's all they're showing you, and you're seeing a million of that from a million different people. This isn't social media isn't normal life. It's the highlight of people's lives. It's the one time they went on vacation.
Yeah, I'd like to see them go
all
back,
this stuff.
do a where are they now on those people that were on that show. I'd love to see where they are now.
They
Oh, dude,
they
if you
actually
see
do
most
have
of the people
follow-ups.
on those shows are horrible.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
messed
they
up,
actually do have
man.
follow-ups. So my daughter, she actually liked to watch that 16 and Pregnant. I'm like, why are you watching this? I sat there and watched it, and like all these teenagers living with their parents, like they're not really taking care of the kid, and like their folks are, and they don't have a job, and like it's just nothing but drama. And I'm like, I asked her, I said, why are you watching this? Because it's interesting. I said, why is it interesting? And she said,
What?
well, they're having a tough time. They're having a kid, and they had to drop out of high school and all that stuff. I asked her, I said, okay, so do you think that's something that's okay to do? And she said, well, no. I said, then why are you watching it? Because the more you watch it, the more money that they get.
That's right.
I said, if you quit watching that stuff like that, they will not get money. And you need to stop that. Stop watching that stuff. Stop supporting them. Because
supporting it.
Yeah, if everyone around the world would not watch those shows, they would not be on.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
I wouldn't
they're
I
on
wouldn't
for a
let my
reason
daughter
because
watch
people
that
watch
show.
them.
I wouldn't let her
people
watch
watch
it. Yeah, I saw that one.
By the way,
first time I saw it, it's like, nope.
one
ahead,
of the
Bob.
first girls who was on there, her name was Farah. She's doing
Yeah.
porn now.
Yeah.
Really?
Did
I'm gonna
what?
have to
Yeah, I
look
think
her
her
up.
name's Farah.
She was actually kind of good looking.
Yeah, Farah Abrams.
I think she was one of the hotter ones.
Yes.
Yeah. Wait,
All
John,
right,
you
I'm
look
gonna have
it
to
up.
look. I'm gonna have to go look that up.
Google.
What happened with her?
Google.
What happened
She's
with
doing
her?
that. She's doing that
Oh,
OnlyFans.
she's in porn now.
She's a porn star now. Well, she
She's doing that backdoor special.
she couldn't stop. The money. She needed the money, man.
Well, going back on the whole slut shaming thing, when COVID hit, right, and everybody kind of fell into tougher times.
You finally figured it out, huh?
I finally figured this out. Wow.
Go ahead, Tim.
I'm telling
Finish.
you, I am so rusty at this stuff.
Well, you got it. You're in.
I mean, I thought I copied the link. It disappeared. I didn't know whether to go into Instagram or Facebook or Chrome or Gold.
Well, that's my bad. I forgot that StreamYard now is accepted on Apple products, but you have to do it through Safari now, not Chrome.
Oh,
So,
I see.
Yeah, I forgot
that. I figured it out.
Yeah, you're here.
Wow.
Go ahead, Tim.
Nice to see you guys.
Yeah. Tim, go ahead.
Nice to see you, Johnny.
Yeah, man. We'll talk later. We got a lot to talk about.
I know.
I know.
A lot
Go
of
ahead, Tim.
stuff.
Go ahead, Tim.
I was just going to say, when COVID hit and everybody kind of fell on hard times, rather than people struggling, picking themselves up by the bootstraps, and there's a horrible parallel, but like opening the proverbial lemonade stand to try to rescue themselves. So many, and guys too, this isn't guys too, but a lot of women ran right to OnlyFans to make money. What do you think they're doing on OnlyFans?
Yeah,
they're not showing you their puppy dog. They're showing you their kitty cat.
Aren't they showing you cooking recipes on there, Tim?
But
Isn't that?
there was a lady in Roseville whose kids got kicked out of Catholic school
That's
because
the one I
mom
was
had an
talking about. Yeah,
account.
yeah. And she supposedly wasn't
Mom was
showing
making
any
$100
nudity.
grand a month on OnlyFans.
Yeah, 15,000 a
Jesus
month.
Christ.
Yeah, she's
Well,
making.
They kicked her kids out of Catholic school.
Yeah,
Okay, she could afford to send him to another Catholic school, that kind of money.
yeah. She's married,
100
and
grand a month, I'm thinking.
she was doing like lingerie shots. Supposedly, she didn't do. Did
Nudes.
she do nudes or just tasteful nudes?
Tasteful, probably tasteful nudes. I'm sure she was
I don't
married.
know. I didn't download her because I refuse to give money to women for like
It's
pictures
only
of
$10
semi-naked.
a month, Bob. It's only $10
Yeah, I mean,
a month.
I've never even heard of the site until it was on the news. So
They've all, even in our industry, in the vaping industry, a lot of them are trying to figure out different ways to make money, and a lot of the female YouTubers have gone over to that OnlyFans stuff to themselves, but they'll state right at the top, no nudes, no nudes. And I'm just like, whatever. Why would I pay $10 a month to see you half naked?
yeah, because it's a subscription, isn't it? You have to subscribe
You
to it, right?
you pay kind of like per page. They set up a fee menu,
Yeah,
and then you just pick who
Really?
you want to. Some are free; they're not all pay,
yeah,
but the nudie ones you're gonna pay.
yeah. You know too much, Tim.
Yeah.
Oh, we know what you're doing.
Yeah, like I said,
Hamilton.
I never heard of it until it was out on the news, and I still haven't any desire to look
Well,
at it.
it may be more diverse now, but it started on
Yeah.
on the idea that it was basically pitched on the idea it's like, oh well, that girl you might know on Facebook that you kind of secretly thought was good looking, ask her if she's got an OnlyFans page, and then you'd find out that maybe she did. Now, disclaimer, it didn't work. It wasn't like that for me. I'm just saying that's the whole point. And so
Yeah.
you could go see that person that is in your head showing
Well,
you all the
I can
goodies.
see the same girl on Tinder and then the same girl on Bumble, right? different pictures,
There you
Yeah.
go.
and the profiles are different, a little bit different. It's like
It's
one
people.
profile like Tinder, she lives in Hollywood, and then you look at Bumble and it says she lives in Folsom. I'm
Yeah,
going,
that's
Wow.
one of them's a
Which one's
dude.
right, man?
One of them's a dude, Bruce. Hey, Nino, have you
Yeah.
been hearing any of those stories over there about the Asian people being attacked?
Yeah, no, I heard about it, and there was some rallies, to defend Asian people around here. I have not seen it, and I'm always dismayed as why people would be against Asian people, because I'm surrounded by Asian people, and they've always been respectful. I've never seen one that was homeless. I've never seen one, be rude to anyone. I mean, other than maybe some problems with driving,
Try it.
they're like a huge benefit to society, and they got people that are like, um, you know, out of nowhere just battering them, but it's rare. It's
Yeah.
not that common, and the news shows the few incidents that have happened, but it's mostly hoodlums. Um, and these are hoodlums that batter everybody,
Yeah.
Yeah.
not just Asian people. So they'll batter 30
Anyone
white
that's an
people
easy
for
target.
$20, and then they batter one Asian guy, and they think all the Asians are being battered.
Yep.
It's just not true.
Yeah, they're looking for an easy target. A lot of times it's just an easy target.
Well, then
Oh,
the
yeah.
media is just playing it up too. They want to play it up.
Oh yeah, it's like there's a lot of crime, and the city has a lot of hoodlums that should be locked up and put away for good, and they batter everybody.
Yeah.
So if they could find a white guy battering a black guy on camera, then it would be a big thing about battering black people. I mean, so
Yeah.
You know, it's like anything else. It's the hoopla and hype.
Mike, yeah, Mike is looking for that porn star's name. Did you give him the name? I'm sure he's Googling her name right now, trying to figure out who she
Sarah
is.
Abrams.
It's Debbie. Debbie does Dallas.
Oh, Debbie's she's at least 6 feet under by now. I'm sure she can't possibly be still alive.
That's getting
She's
banned.
working in heaven.
That's for sure getting banned.
That's
Yeah,
getting banned.
well, I don't know, man. That might become one of those movies that wins an Oscar next year. Who knows? And bring that one back. It's just cartoons that they're going after, Tim. Just cartoons. So they're going after Peter Pan and Dumbo and the Aristocrats, and I think they even went after the what's the one with the two dogs eating the spaghetti? Didn't they go after that one as well?
Lady the Tramp?
Yeah.
No.
Really?
No.
I think they did.
There's nothing wrong with Lady the Tramp.
You don't think the dog's being a little too rapey? No, I'm kidding.
No. Because you're eating spaghetti.
I thought that was on the list as well as one of the movies that they were talking about banning.
It's everything.
It's everything. Everything.
It's literally everything. People can interject whatever they want into something and yank out something that they take an offense to.
Yeah, it's like they said. You can look at anything and find some form of racism, attack. It's just a matter of interpretation.
Yeah.
What about was it?
If 1%ers interpret it as bad, then it's gonna. Nobody else can see it. Got to make it bad. It's got to make it go away.
Right. So, was it not last Christmas that they were all over Rudolph's shiny New Year because he had the red nose and he got caught and he was basically a friggin' he was out on an island because they singled him out.
Because he was different.
They were bullying him. They were bullying.
Well, he was bullied, all right. But here's the underlying issue for me is they're trying to remove all these examples of things like bullying with Rudolph in that particular movie from the other reindeer. Now we're talking about fucking non-existent, don't even exist reindeer. Okay,
reindeers are real.
Okay, I know they are, Brian. I'm talking about flying ones that tow around Santa's fucking sleigh.
They can jump.
I'm just saying.
Red noses are rare though.
God, that was. Anyway,
what the fuck do you got against Santa and reindeer, bro?
Yeah.
No, I mean,
I have a friend of mine that actually breeds reindeers and brings around.
And does he put red clown noses on them?
I've talked to him about putting LED lights on noses.
Okay,
yes.
cool.
If he doesn't, he fucking should.
I mean,
now,
my about putting LED on.
My argument here is that people that attack these particular types of shows, especially ones like that, they completely miss the bigger picture of that entire thing, right? Because all of those stories, whether they had something like bullying in it or whatever, all led to a lesson at the end, right? Because in the end, Rudolph saved the day. He's the one that got Santa to where he needed to be because he was unique. Mm-hmm. All right. So
that's true.
Don't trap and take that stuff away because you lose sight of the lesson that's being taught. And it's highly unfortunate. Yeah.
That's exactly it. I mean, it's that just Rudolph the reindeer. It just talks about, not giving up. Going after what you want. And
wait, John, that
you mean it talks about what happens in real life?
A winner or a loser.
Yeah.
And in today's society, there's no winner or loser. It's a participation.
Oh, it's just like with my. I'll bring it up. It's just like my son John Paul, his first soccer team, and I felt bad. They lost every single game. Every single game. It was a bad team, bad coaching, everything. And then for the parents at the end of the year to sit there and say to me, "I think we should get the boys a trophy." And I was like, "You want to buy the boys a trophy?" I said, "What is it going to say? 0-15? I mean, what? Good job losing every single game." I said,
they lost, man.
It's a congrats you didn't quit trophy.
Yeah, go ahead, Bob.
All right.
Well, there's always got to be a loser.
Listening to this awesome conversation. I know one cartoon that they're not going to get rid of because no one's going to get offended by, and that's Aladdin.
Aladdin.
Because only because Robin Williams as the genie, you can't tell me that he was not gay in that cartoon.
Hey, but the new genie is what's
Will,
his name?
Will Smith.
Will Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, of course.
Yeah.
And
They
also,
had to device.
Rob,
They
they're,
had to diversify
they're coming after Frosty the
the
Snowman
genie
next
role.
because he's a snowman not wearing pants. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's it. Hey, well, my big thing about the Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head was they're going, oh, I go until they put the gender parts in the box, a potato was always going to be genderless.
Okay,
Right?
is that the story with the potato thing? I didn't get
No,
the
so
story.
what they're doing is they're not calling it Mr. Potato Head anymore.
They're calling it
It's just going to be called Potato Head.
potato.
You can still buy Mr. and Mrs.
Oh my
Potato Head.
God.
They're just not
It's so
calling
ridiculous,
it Mr.
honestly.
Potato Head.
Yeah,
Like
because
anybody gives a
they don't want
fuck.
to put a
When was
gender
the
to it.
last time you saw a Mr. Potato Head toy?
I got
Like,
Mr.
get the
Potato
hell
Head
out of
lives
here.
next door to me.
I have
man.
not seen one of those since I was a kid. I didn't even
Yeah.
know they still made them bitches.
Yeah.
Like,
But
I didn't even play with
But
one.
Mike,
Did
this
you
is
play?
what we're
potato
worried about.
doesn't have
Like,
a
if
gender
you're
until they put the part in the box that makes
if you're
it
that
genderless.
sensitive about this stuff, imagine having that life. Imagine being so much of a victim that you're worried about Mr. Potato Head or Aunt Jemima's syrup. Like, nobody goes and sees Aunt Jemima's syrup and thinks, oh, look, there's a little black lady on the front of it. No,
No.
bitch, we like the syrup. We like the way that shit tastes.
And she made a lot of
No, we
money
don't
for
give a
being
shit.
on that too.
I guarantee you,
He did.
if you would have said what's on the front of that to like 9 out of 10 people wouldn't even know that the little picture of Aunt Jemima was even on the front. Most people wouldn't even know.
Yeah.
They wouldn't care.
Because they, you know what I mean? Like if you, it's just like, come on. Like if that's the problem, and we're just going to teach kids to be more sensitive, and the world isn't sensitive. The real world is a fucking bitch.
To be
And it's
I think it
sensitized.
still
mean
comes down
people,
to a parenting
and it's
issue,
rough.
Yeah, you're
It's
taking
just
it away.
like
You're taking away
like-
the opportunity for a parent to be a parent and a person to make the decisions on what their kids can and cannot see. It's just to the point where it's gotten ridiculous because these kids are going to grow up not knowing how to argue a point as an adult. They're going to learn not to how to socialize with each other because they're going to be so afraid to offend someone with every word that comes out of their mouth. I mean, it's ridiculous.
or they're going to be so offended. That's the problem. Is kids aren't going to be able to deal with real life, and that's why I believe that anxiety and depression and all that is going to continue to rise and rise and rise.
The suicide rate for
Unfortunately,
kids is
people
like
don't want to admit
ridiculous.
it. We're just raising little bitches
Yeah.
that are going to get offended by every little thing that somebody says or does, and they aren't going to be able to handle real life. And it's sad for the kids because you're going to get grown adults just being depressed and having anxiety about every little thing that happens in their life, and they're all just going to be medicated. But these people don't give a shit because a lot of the big top people are big pharma. We're just going to pump these kids full of pills and help them with all their anxiety and depression.
Yep.
And it's just a vicious cycle, and it's just going to get worse and worse. Like back when I was a kid, there wasn't a lot of kids that were like serious depressed. I mean, there was kids that act like they were, but in reality, they weren't. They were just trying to be part of a fad or something. But nowadays, I mean, every other person I meet is like dealing with depression or taking pills for depression or something like that.
Shrink,
anxiety,
going to psychologist.
It's become such a big deal, and it's really is because we're training kids just to be, so sensitive to everything, and that people shouldn't be mean to you. No, the world's mean. That's life. Like, sorry about it.
Kids, you got to be in touch with your feelings and all that crap, and reach out and pet your rock and pet your plant, and it's like.
Well, that's one thing I taught my daughter is because she's on like meds for major depressive disorder, and as I talked to her about it a few times, I just said the best thing you can do is to understand what's going on, and if you can really understand and help yourself, you can actually get yourself off your pills. That's the best thing you can do, and it didn't click at all. And I'm like, what can I do? I'm like, the best thing you can do for yourself is for you to help yourself to understand what's going on. If you can't do that, and you can't like
The
take
best
that
thing
next
that, I
step
think
forward,
the best thing to keep your
that's
kids
it.
out of trouble is to compliment them.
Yeah,
You compliment your kids every day.
every day. That's it.
And the part of the problem with Aunt Jemima and all that Indian shit is people are not proud to be who they are. And if you look at the Italians are proud to be Italian. If we got a spaghetti sauce with Mama Maria on it, we're fucking happy.
Oh yeah, we're
fucking
pumped.
stoked.
We're
We're
pumped.
fucking proud of Mama Maria, whoever it is.
Hell yeah.
Okay. And we would protest if they told us to take down Mama Maria. Because that's a fucking spaghetti sauce.
Well,
If I was
you
a
know,
black person in this country and they told me they had to take Aunt Jemima off my fucking maple syrup, I would tell them to go fuck themselves.
Yeah.
Because I'm proud of being black, and Aunt Jemima's black, and she's famous for that fucking maple syrup.
Yeah. I mean,
the black people
on a can, and we're
black
happy.
people should rise up against it. You know, as far as white people concerned, we need to stay out of it. It's their fight. If they want to not be proud about being black and take Aunt Jemima down, fine, fuck them, take them down. If the Indians don't want the Cherokees to be on a team because they're not proud to be Indians, then they fuck them, take the Cherokees down. It's you know, I believe you have to be proud of who you are, and all these symbols are just a grand compliment to your people, wherever you're from.
Yeah,
right. But
exactly. When did people stop thinking about it as a compliment?
Well, we saw that when they knocked down all the statues last year of all the historical statues that they knocked down from the South. The President's Lincoln Memorial. I mean, all that stuff they were knocking down.
Yeah.
Hold on, Bob wants to say something. Yeah. Let Bob say something.
Go ahead, Bob.
Go ahead, Bob.
Thank you. All right, getting back to what Dino said about being proud of who you are. I have a niece. She lives in Long Beach. I love her to death. She's very liberal. So we were talking last summer about what's going on, and she told me, she goes, "I'm ashamed of being white," and I'm like, "Come again?" I'm ashamed of being white. What? Why?
You got the wrong uncle.
Well, we black people. I said, number one, you and I did nothing to black people. Okay. All right. That was way back when. That was when, you know, they were using slaves as labor. And if you're going to get mad at somebody, get mad at the black people who sold the black people into slavery. Okay. But you didn't do anything to black people. You have nothing to be ashamed about being white. That's who you were born into. That's how you live. But to be ashamed of your other skin color, I love you, but you're absolutely stupid, I told her.
Yeah.
Well, this all starts from the fact that our leader for the last 4 years has surrounded himself by only white people, and he's disenfranchised.
No, that's not true.
He's all the people in politics he put in, with the exception maybe one or two, were white, and it's the perception.
Well, majority of people in politics are white. Period.
Well, yeah, I mean, this goes further back than Trump, don't you know? You can't put Trump into this.
It does, but you know what? We didn't have this problem during Bush. We didn't have this.
We had it during Obama. It started during Obama.
Well,
Obama set us back 30 years in race relations.
Yeah.
No, you're right, because all the racists came out because they were pissed off we had a black president.
So well, no, that wasn't what it was.
That wasn't what happened.
If you ask Obama, you can look up the video. There is a video of Obama when he's running for president the first time, and they asked him. The interviewer asked him, if you lost, do you think it would be because you're black? And he said, absolutely not. If I lose, it's because I did not get my point across that I want what I wanted to do for the American people. And that's what he should have said, and that's what he should have done, acted like his whole time in presidency. But after he won, it went straight back to the Democratic pandering to people. He knew he knew before he won that this was not. It wouldn't be if he didn't win. It wouldn't be because he was black, and he knew that. He knew it was if he didn't win, it would be because of himself. And he won twice. But he didn't do anything to help it. He just started pandering and started calling a bunch of people racist and going along like they do. And it set us back. During the Bush era, does anybody remember all this racist stuff during the Bush era? I sure as hell don't.
I don't.
So when did it start?
Anna's question.
I don't remember Obama starting racial problems either.
Yes.
I don't remember that. And he was a good statesman. I thought he was a good president. But
he could speak good. That's about it. He could speak good. He's a damn good speaker.
He was a very good, and that's all you need, because the best presidents, it's not what they do, it's what they don't do. And
well, if that's the case, then he's the best because he did a whole lot of nothing.
Well, yeah, he was the best because of that. And then you got to understand, if you ever been to Alabama and Mississippi, when I have been a lot, it's outright racist out there. I mean, we're from California. I don't see that much racism here. But if you go there, it's fucking all out racist. And that's why a lot of blacks leave there and go to the West Coast and East Coast. And they were just pissed off that Obama won. And, what are you going to do? I mean,
I don't know how we can say that America was pissed off that Obama won. We got to remember, white people still make up, 65-70% of the population.
61.
And Obama won by a landslide. And we're talking tens upon tens upon tens of millions of white people that came out and voted for him. If white people didn't want him in there, he wouldn't have been in there.
No, I know
exactly.
That's just fact.
No, I know it's a fact. It is a fact. But there's 20% of this country, primarily in the South, they're just freaking racist. I mean, you drive down the highway,
there's no way,
and you see Confederate flags everywhere in Mississippi.
But that's because you don't understand. That's not you. There's black people from the South that fly the Confederate flag. They don't consider it the Confederate flag.
Never saw.
They don't consider it the Confederate flag. They call it the Southern flag.
Hold on, Mike.
That's
Mike,
the difference.
Mike, hold on.
It's not a Confederate flag to them. That's what we call it.
I don't know why they would fly it.
John, I sent you a picture on Messenger, John. Pull that picture up.
All right, hold on. On our show or on your page?
On the For Nobodies, yes. For Nobodies. Pull that picture up.
Oh, okay, yeah. Hold on. Ooh, I almost hit leave studio. That would have been fucked up.
Wouldn't have been the first time.
Pull that picture.
Wouldn't.
So
there you go.
Why do you why do you think that picture's there? Because so rare.
They're black people wearing the Confederate colors, and they're happy about it because it's heritage. It's not hate, it's heritage. That is the South. A lot of black people in the South are proud of their Southern heritage. Okay,
well,
those people are wearing the Confederate flag.
I mean,
they're proud of their heritage.
Yeah, I mean it's the same thing with
there might be a few.
Well, there's a few. I mean, there's a few in every group, but I mean, it's just
few in anything.
It's just the thing is, to me, where I understand all this nonsense about wanting to change the books, the history books, and you can pull down all the fucking statues you want. That's not going to change what happened. And a lot of times, like I wrote in my post, history always repeats itself. But if this generation doesn't have anything to look back to fix and how we fixed it, what good is it? What good is it? Because they erased all that history. They erased all that
It's
stuff.
true that people that
Well,
don't learn from their history are doomed to repeat it.
They're doomed to repeat
I
it.
have to
Yeah.
agree. I don't think they should have torn down any of those statues because it is part of our history and you learn from history.
Right.
Okay.
And you don't see any other country doing that. You don't see England ripping down
Well,
things.
no, there
And-
are no statues of Hitler in Germany.
no, of course they're not. They're not.
Okay.
There's no
There's no
statues.
statues
Okay,
of
but we
Stalin.
don't have a
There's no
statue of
statues
anybody
of
that you could
Stalin in
compare to him.
Russia.
Yeah, we don't have anything that
Who
can compare
do we
to.
have a statue of that you can compare to Hitler?
Yeah, there's no going to be ever a
There is-
statue.
No, we don't have anyone
Yeah.
here that can compare to Hitler. I'm just
But
saying there is a reason to take down statues, but it's
Not here, there isn't.
extreme, and none of
Extreme.
the people that we ever created in this country, I think, deserve their statue to be torn down.
Well,
was-
here's,
it's just
here's, a, here's a
Go ahead,
question.
Brian. Go ahead, Brian.
Here's a question. Like, why?
Go ahead, Brian.
So if if like we're talking about Germany, if they're kind of if we're take what we're doing here and put it into Germany, do you think that Auschwitz would actually still be standing or not?
No, the thing is that, like I said before, do you see the Jews trying to erase what happened? No, they don't want to erase what happened because they want people to see what took place. They want people to understand this happened. This really happened. By trying to hide that and not teach that to future generations, what took place back then, what Hitler did, what Germany did to the Jews. If you took that away out of the books, the Jews don't want that. They want people to realize this took place. This is what happened. And this is how we can avoid this ever happening again. By trying to erase all that and trying to hide it doesn't fix anything, because everything always repeats itself. And the same thing with our history. Okay, even though you take our history is a little over 200 years old. US history is over 200 years old. You're wanting to erase almost half of what this country, how it got started. All this is being erased, all of it. So future generations can't look back. Let's say 100 years from now, all of a sudden there's racial craziness again, all over again. Well, that generation, how do they can't look back in history and say, okay, this is what happened. This is how John F. Kennedy, or this is how Abraham Lincoln fixed it. This is how this president dealt with it. This is how this Congress dealt with it. But if you take all that history away, then how's that future generation know and understand how to fix those problems? They don't. They wouldn't know because it's all gone. They erased it all. Tim, you've been quiet. Would you like to say something, Tim?
I mean, it's true. Like, if you go back far enough, you'll find that, Genghis Khan, who was the most vile, destructive Mongolian invader of Europe, and wiped out literally
thousands,
countries
thousands.
everywhere. He went through
Brian
a
got
cycle
pretty.
where everything about him was wiped out, and now he's back. But if you really study the history, he was a disgusting person who killed millions of people.
Yeah.
So, the history's always there, though.
What is he remembered for? What is him and Julius Caesar and Achilles? All these people, what are they known for? Great military minds. They're not even remembered for what they did. The millions of thousands of people that they killed, towns, raped and pillaged, all these places. No, they're remembered as great military leaders that had great strategies. But
right, like Napoleon. That's a perfect example. Look at Napoleon, the most disgusting man in fairly modern times.
Before Hitler.
Who fucking killed 1 million fucking Russians, over a million in one fucking winter in Russia trying to invade Stalingrad or whatever for nothing. And people still like glorify him. It was
he's known as
you're right. You're right. I mean,
hello,
but
wife.
if people really study history and you really study these leaders who fought wars, you'll learn to hate them because of all the people they killed.
Well, Stalin killed more Russians than Napoleon did.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, Stalin killed a lot of Russians.
Stalin,
20 million.
Yeah, 20 million people.
Stalin
The
was
thing
one-
is
and then,
about
you
it
know,
is we
but
don't.
the Italians
But
get it
going
right.
back to it, we don't have anybody like that. And even if you want to talk about Robert E. Lee, I don't know if people get in their heads that Robert E. Lee was just fighting so he could have slaves.
Yeah.
If that's what people think, people are stupid.
Yeah.
They were fighting because they wanted their part of the country. They wanted the South. Like that, it was. Yeah, the North wanted to get rid of slavery. Yes, because mainly most of the slavery was in the South. But it wasn't like it was just, we want our slaves, no, get rid of them. All right, we're going to war. That wasn't it. Yes, it was a part of it, a big part of it. But it's not like Robert E. Lee was just fighting so he could just have some slaves picking cotton in his front yard. That wasn't it.
Robert E. Lee freed his slaves before the war started. General Grant didn't free his slaves until after the war.
Yeah.
So who's the good guy? Who's the bad guy?
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, the basic gist of that war was over slavery, though.
No, it wasn't.
No,
it was all about economics. It was all about economics. It was not about slavery. It was about economics. The South wanted control over their products.
You're right. It was economic because
Tobacco,
the South
cotton,
was.
They wanted to make it their own minds. They didn't want to fit in with the rest of the United States.
Well, yeah, it was economic.
It was not about slavery. It was about economic issues.
They needed cheap labor to cultivate all the crops, and that's the only way they thought they could get it. But they got it in another way. They got it. They got a better deal. They got a way to pay people such a small amount of money and not have to house them or feed them or pay for their health care. So they got a better deal. And then they got electoral college.
Opposed to the North, who the Irish and Italians lived in slums, got paid a penny a day, working 18 hours a day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no, the Irish were enslaved. The Irish were enslaved as well.
Indentured servants. I'm sorry.
Yes, indentured servants.
Go ahead, Brian.
They were.
Brian.
Okay, so speaking from Irish heritage, as you can see,
Yeah.
When my ancestors first came to the United States, we were only allowed to have 2 jobs: firefighters, police officers, and the women stayed home with the kids. That was it.
Yeah.
So when you guys are talking about slavery and you're talking about inequality and things like that, inequality happened with Caucasian people as well.
Yeah.
That weren't from the United States. So I completely agree.
Right. This
with what
was a
he's saying.
war because people wanted to own you. That's what the war was about. We didn't. It's not
the
about.
war was about economic issues.
Well, it was about owning someone and having the right to tell them.
No, it wasn't. It was about taxation on products that the North couldn't get their hands on. It was about Congress instituting tax on cotton, tobacco, all the products that were being produced came from the South, and Congress wanted more of a cut on taxes on it. Had nothing to do with slavery at all. It had to do with the gross American product at the time.
Why do you think slavery decreased so much?
Became a part of it.
Yeah, but why do you think slavery decreased so much with the invention of like the cotton gin? Think about it. There was a way for us to use tools instead of people. So when we automated something like picking cotton and processing cotton, we eliminated the need for slavery.
Probably it's whether the chicken or the egg came first. It probably was because now we had the pay all those people. So we invented something that we didn't have to pay. And it's the same reason why we're building robots today. We don't want to pay all these people to put all these things together. So we invent robots to build them. It's just a way to survive and make, it's progress, really. People will always find something to do to make money. And whether it's the people who build the robots or people will think of something to invent to make money and work. So I'm an optimist. I really, the world's filled with travesties, but I just think a lot of people get too general about a lot of things.
Tim's been quiet. Let's hear from Tim.
I'm just taking in all the information. No, I think a big part of the Civil War was we were raised on the idea that was the basic premise around it, that it was the war that ended slavery. But I also feel as a nation, we've graduated much further beyond that, which is what disheartens me about the way that the world is in our current day and time. Like we literally just walked out of that yesterday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like yesterday, I had 3 dudes in my backyard, doing stuff for me, and that I somehow own that. We've all grown wiser for that. I think we're smarter than that, and I think that
if you want proof, it was about ownership. Just look on your deed, look on the title of your property you live on, and every CC&Rs for property says right on it, if you're black, don't bother. You can't own it. If you're Mongolian, you can't own it. It's right there in black and white. They didn't want black people to own anything, and the South wanted to own them. It's right there in black and white. And it wasn't until 1966 when they passed the Civil Rights Act, and every title report you see on a real estate deal has a big stamp on it. This provision of DCCNRs does not apply. It's void. So it's right there. If you want proof. Every property that was subdivided before
that goes more towards racism, not
if you're
slavery.
Black, you can't own it. And that's probably the worst thing we ever did to black people, was not let them own property. And that's why there was a big thing about
just because that was in certain places. There was black people that owned property before 1960. I can tell you that.
Absolutely.
And you know what? They did it illegally.
No,
because it was
there were places in the United States where it was legal to own property for sure. They were given property. A lot of black people were given property after the war
in the South.
You know what? There it wasn't. I won't say it's everywhere before 1960, but it was in most places. You could, if you were black, you could own it, and whether it was enforced or not, I don't know, but it's right there in black and white.
Well,
go ahead, Brian.
Booker T. Washington had his own damn college in the early 1900s. So,
question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I thought this was supposed to be fun. Can we move to a different topic, possibly? Like, I get the whole black white thing, but the honest opinion here, like, we're in the Midwest. We're surrounded by mostly Caucasian and some Native Americans. Yeah, we have the African American community here too. But for us to be debating something like the Civil War from a only white perspective, I think might look bad to anybody of color that's looking at this video.
Well,
right
yeah,
now.
but it doesn't. Well, because it's not a black or white perspective. There's only the perspective. There is the facts.
I get that.
There
I
is
get
what
that.
it is.
I'm just saying, like, we're supposed to be on a Friday night,
Bruce
like having
writing?
fun, drinking some drinks, and hanging out. Like the last show I was on, you guys were talking about porn constantly, and now
Well,
we're
that's-
on to like talking about civil rights and
Well,
like
that's
the
why
Civil
we
War. Like, come on,
Well,
there's
all right,
got
well,
to
we'll
be
get-
something
We'll go
besides
back.
porn.
We'll go back.
everything was about
Civil rights.
sex the last 4
Porn?
weeks.
Yeah.
Everything was about porn and sex, and
well-
so we
well, this-
decided we
well,
wanted to
this
have
sh-
a more serious.
We wanted to
thought
be
it was
more
supposed to
You
serious.
came on the
It's
wrong
pretty
one.
serious though.
But this show was really, I didn't want to get into the Civil War and all that other stuff, but my
that was
concern,
an
this show was really about what's happening, what's being taken place, and with movies and books and commercials and companies falling into this hole. How is Bruce typing? I don't see him in front of the computer. Where is he on the shitter? Bruce, you better not
on
be
a
on the
date break.
shitter with your phone. You better
He's on
wash
the
your
shitter.
hands. You better wash
Totally.
your hands.
Taking it.
And by the way, I literally just got done watching Coming to America, like the
Dude,
second
I've
one.
seen that. I didn't watch it, but I just saw the thing.
So
for it.
funny,
Big
Okay.
break.
so funny.
Is it good?
Yeah,
Good.
it's hilarious, especially the ending. Like I was
Yeah.
laughing so hard, I was crying.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, that's what the
Okay,
show was
so-
about. What the show was about was me being pissed off. Not just, like I said, the one that took me to the top was the Grease one. That to me just made no sense to me.
No, it
How
doesn't.
you ban the movie Grease because you think that John Travolta was being too fucking rapey in that movie with fucking
He was being crude, but I don't think you can say anything about John Travolta and Grease and not Seth MacFarlane and Family Guy. Come
oh my
on.
god.
They're both crude, they're both
That was
rude,
awesome.
but they're
Totally
funny
agree.
as shit.
Totally
Like
agree.
They were
plain
just
and
trying to get it going.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
who banned Grease?
they want to ban the movie Grease because they say that he's being too rapey in that movie, trying to, and whore shaming because they were shaming Rizzo because she was pregnant in that movie.
she
So,
skipped a period.
yeah,
I feel like a defective typewriter.
yeah. So they want to ban that movie, and it just
Who's
made
they
me laugh.
though? Who's they?
The Snowflakes. The Snowflakes want to ban
Oh,
the same people that want to
Cancel
that
culture.
want to, yeah, the same people that want to ban, the Disney movies. Well, now I can't even remember the names of all the damn
Yeah.
Disney movies.
Dumbo.
Okay, so
Peter Pan.
Dumbo.
yeah, so here's the thing about the Snowflakes is they want to live in this little bubble where history didn't happen.
Yeah, it didn't happen.
Okay. What is the one thing that we've all been told about history? If you don't learn from it, you're doomed to repeat it, right?
Yep.
So them taking away all the statues, them canceling all these movies and like taking all of these shows off because they're insensitive to the Snowflake generation, they can fuck themselves. Because
it's
guess
true.
what?
It's not right.
history. You
Yeah.
have to learn from it. If you
Yeah.
don't like it, don't watch it.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Okay,
sorry. The movie Grease.
I want to call out.
Go ahead, Bob. Go ahead.
I want to call out just the equality that I think we all deserve. Okay. So Coca-Cola wants people to change because they're too white. Okay. Change your thinking because you're too white. You can't be too white and work for Coca-Cola. All right. So if we're going to be equal about this stuff, does the NBA change and tell their players not to be too black? Does that mean they can only have like two baby mamas? They can't date any of the Kardashian sisters, and they're not allowed to go to strip clubs in Atlanta and Miami.
Good question.
Because that would be
Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay.
You tell James
So-
Harden he can't go to a strip club, he's going to slap you.
Yeah, he's gonna
Okay.
be super mad.
So you guys
Go ahead.
know what BET is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Well,
said
they're not
ET?
that old. Come on now.
Okay, so BET, Black Entertainment
Oh,
Television.
BET. I thought you said
Yeah.
ET.
We're not allowed to have white entertainment television.
Wet.
They
we're not.
have They have-
That's awesome. I might start
Look at
that.
this.
they have, the Ebony Awards. We're not allowed to have the Ivory Awards. They have Black History Month. We don't have White History Month.
We don't have Italian History Month.
and our roommate is sitting
We've
here
had
saying, "Yeah,
Columbus
we have
Day.
all the rest of the
Not
channels.
no more.
Yeah,
I
we
don't
have
think
all
we
the
have
rest of
Columbus
the
Day
we have
anymore.
all the rest of the award ceremonies. Yeah, we have all the rest of the 11 months. It's not true. Like,
Right.
I'm sorry.
You're right. You're right. But also, the Mexicans got
Chocolate
Telemundo.
Coke.
We don't got our
so
own.
sick.
Telemundo. Telemundo. Yeah, we
Dude,
no
are
longer.
you gonna tell Mexican people Mexican taco trucks?
Yeah, Nino,
No.
we can no longer claim Christopher Columbus as an Italian. That's kind of been proven that he
No,
wasn't
I
Italian.
was so pissed off when they took Columbus statue down
Yeah.
at Coit that I.
But we don't
almost went-
have to be. He was Portuguese. We know that now. He was
Well,
actually Portuguese.
Yeah, and the Queen told him what to do.
Yeah.
It was her. It wasn't him. He
Yeah.
just sailed the fucking ship.
I know, but
Won't
we don't
take
have
him
to claim
down.
him any longer. We don't have to claim him anymore. He was Portuguese. He didn't even speak a word of Italian. He didn't even know how to speak Italian. You cannot grow
he was
up.
Portuguese?
You cannot. Yeah, you
Yeah.
cannot grow up in Geneva, Italy,
Fucking
and not
Portuguese.
speak fucking Italian. He did not
Yeah, he
speak
was
Italian.
Portuguese.
He
Yeah,
was
and
Portuguese.
he kind of, I was.
They're wannabe Italians.
I mean,
Yeah.
but it was a nice. It was.
It was
nice,
cool to be Italian.
It was a nice statue. I have a picture of my wife and I in front of that statue when we first met.
Oh, the
And
one
they
at the
fucking
top.
Take it down.
Yeah, the one at the top there at the in San Francisco.
Coit,
Yeah,
right?
at Coit. Yeah,
It's a part of history.
yeah.
Why
It's
take
gone
Nobody
now.
it down?
today, nobody's alive today that's even remotely was around when Christopher Columbus or any of these statues that people are taking down. I'm like, why are you offended by somebody that died of 100 years before you were fucking born?
Yeah.
Like,
I
get
mean,
the fuck
you
over
know
it.
what though? It depends what you glorify him about.
Who's
We
glorifying him? When was the
we
last time you
glorify-
saw somebody wearing Christopher Columbus on a fucking t-shirt being like, this is my dude? Or somebody walking around like praising General Lee? Like, this doesn't happen.
Well,
Yeah.
Christopher Columbus was known for discovering America.
Cuba.
That alone, he deserves a statue. But Lee, I don't know what Lee's known for. I don't know history that well. But it
He's
depends
just,
what
he's
you were
just known for being
for.
the general of the South.
Yeah, he was known for the General Lee car.
I don't know.
Dukes of Hazzard.
I just don't know what he was about. So I
Mrs.
can't
Bryan
say.
wants to say something.
Go ahead,
Question.
Mrs. Bryan.
So, if they're allowed to have statues of Union soldiers and Confederate soldiers, why don't they have statues for like the adult entertainment industry? Like, come on.
I'd have one of those.
Bob,
You know what? You
I know
guys
got
should go
something
to
you
the
wanna
adult
say.
Like, Ron
video.
Jeremy should have his own statue. I'm just saying.
John Holmes, his third leg.
Bob,
It would
who
be
do you
a
want
big
statue
statue.
of? Who does Bob want a statue of?
You guys should go to the adult video conference in Vegas.
No, I have way too much of that at home. I don't need it in Vegas at all.
Yeah.
They have a
Well,
great
you know, if
conference
you're
there.
going to put porn statues, you got to go Christie Canyon, get them out there. You know what I'm saying?
Just a big opening of a mouth. Just a big mouth opening.
No, just a humongous booth.
They should have a few statues of those famous porn stars.
Yeah.
They're people too.
You put Pam Anderson or you put Jenna Jameson on a freaking statue. That's definitely going to be a landmark.
So first of all, like
It
Debbie
would.
Does Dallas. needs
I'll
her
take
own
a picture with
statue
Pamela
for
Anderson's
branding.
titties.
Yeah. In
I don't
between
know
them.
why
I think
they haven't
Dallas
done it
needs
yet.
to have a freaking statue of Debbie in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Debbie Does Dallas, the red light district.
I mean, if I was a famous porn star, I would pay to have a bronze statue made and stuck in the middle
There
of the
you
square
go.
in Vegas. It's great marketing.
I would chip in.
Hey,
Although-
the people over in Europe and stuff have statues with guys that are naked and shit with their little peepees. Why can't we?
Exactly.
Although-
and they're famous.
I
You
mean,
gotta
it's called
remember-
the statue of David. I think Michelangelo made that early
You
in
gotta
our
remember what they,
one of the two. But the statue of David, I don't think can be considered a pornographic statue.
but you got to
No.
remember what they did to some of those
Why
statues.
not? Because he's got
Well, yeah, because they removed
chopped
his
the dicks
cock
off
and
and
they put a
put fig
freaking
leaves.
fig leaf there.
they cut the penises off a lot of those statues.
I know, it's so wrong.
Or they shrunk them down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Leftists.
It's lucky that statue wasn't in Baghdad, because the Taliban would have fucking blown it up.
They would have blown it.
Those people talk about people who don't like statues.
Yeah, they don't like statues.
I think every statue in Iraq is gone.
Well, that's because most of them were Sodom, but you know,
And most of them were Bin Laden, not Bin Laden, but
I think most of them were because they were
Hussein,
statues of dictators.
Saddam Hussein and
I think all of us remember the statue of Saddam Hussein being like drug across
everybody. Yeah.
and off, and like everybody's kicking it and spitting on it and stuff like that. I totally would have just squatted to pee on that sucker. Like,
well, yeah, I mean,
well, that's
it's the same thing with Mussolini. They destroyed every Mussolini statue.
God. Yeah, shit. They dragged him through the city.
Yeah,
they did.
They dragged him through the city, man.
They hung him and dragged him. You know.
Yeah.
People didn't like him either.
So if they did that with Saddam Hussein and they did that with Mussolini, do you think that that is kind of our country's version of doing that to the Confederate statues? Like, would you put those in the same category?
No.
Okay.
This is
Why not?
is why.
So that's what other countries are wondering. Why not? If the Confederate soldiers and the Confederate leaders were so horrible to the point of where our country is removing those statues, they're thinking of it.
It's not our country. It's like a tenth of 1% of a bunch of people.
I get that, but you have to think about it from an outside perspective. If you're seeing other countries that are looking at the United States being like, oh, these guys must have been really, really horrible because the United States are like destroying all the statues, just like we did with Mussolini, like we did with Saddam Hussein.
What they're probably thinking is we're a bunch of crazies.
Well, that's a given. We've been crazy since we were freaking founded.
They're looking at us like, that's what you guys are worried about? Yeah. You guys are getting up in arms about a statue of a guy that's been dead and gone for 150 years? They're not comparing that to them getting rid of their dictator that they had last year.
Right.
True.
I suppose if you put it on a dictator, like we're nuts.
Yeah, I mean, if you put it on like a dictator versus like a Confederate soldier, I can totally see it that way. That makes more sense.
Yeah,
but when they were
just thinking we're crazy for the stuff we're doing.
Last year, though, when they were destroying statues, they vandalized a statue in Massachusetts, which was a tribute to the 54th Regiment during the Civil War. Okay?
Yep.
They defaced it. They did everything. Now, the stupid people who did that, the 54th Massachusetts was an all-black outfit for the Union.
Yeah. Yep.
That's how
they have
stupid
a movie about him.
Yeah, it's called The Glory.
Glory. The movie Glory is about them.
Yeah.
No shortage of stupid people in this country.
That's because they don't teach history in school anymore.
Yeah. No, they don't teach history in school anymore.
We don't.
Like they don't teach you how to read. They don't teach you how to read an analog clock, so they're taking those off the wall because nobody can tell time anymore.
They gotta have an eye.
His 18-year-old daughter cannot read an analog clock.
Exactly.
You know, she said his.
She can't count change. She can't do anything.
No.
Oh, I saw it the other day at the store. I won't say the store, but the register broke, and he was trying to count change back to me, and I was just sitting there like baffled at him. I was just like, really?
I know. Well, since when did our kids forget how to count? You have
when they started giving them computers and calculators.
I know that, but I'm just saying, like, common sense should override a freaking computer.
I was in a convenience store like about a week or so ago, and I think my total tab was like 14 and some change, and I gave them 21 and the exact change, and like gave me a 5 back.
Oh, you
and they go,
you fucked with the head.
Yeah, and they go, what do you mean give you 5 back? I'm like, well, I'm giving you an exact change, so you can just give me $5 back, and off you go, because you need the ones. I don't want them. We'll just call it a day. and they got mad at me. So I finally had to just give them my 20 and just have them give me back like, the other $4 some change. I'm like, what the hell? What's wrong with it?
You totally fucked with their head.
I got a corner store I go to, and I have a lottery ticket, right? So I'll turn in the lottery ticket. It's a winner, $6, $7, $8, $10, something like that. And I go, okay. And then I want another $10 thing like on that, right? So I'll give him the money to make up for it like that. He'll ring it up, and then he'll give me like $16 and change, and I kind of look at him funny, going, "No, dude, so we're even." Oh no, I pushed all the buttons and says I owe you $14. You're wrong, And the gal standing behind in the line laughing like, "This dude's stupid. He should take the money." And it's like, no, my little neighborhood store. You got it wrong. Go in the next week, he does the same thing again. It's like, no, dude, really, we're square.
But the computer told me I owe you money.
Did you know that they literally have a course in high school called consumer math that helps teach them how to count change? That's the only thing they do in the entire class.
Well, in elementary school, when I was in school, we had the pieces of paper that showed you how to read an analog clock. That was part of it. You'd sit there. Also, it was the count change where they would show a dollar bill and they change and go, this is that, and you circle the right change thing coming back. This was elementary school. Right? When I grew up, they were teaching you that before you even got to junior high or high school.
I could literally balance a checkbook by the time I was in 6th grade. I don't even think he knows how to balance a checkbook.
Yeah, we were taught that in elementary school.
Yeah. I do. I'm just really
taught me that at a pretty young age.
Yeah, we were taught that in I think 8, 7. Who's eating?
What is that?
What
noise?
is that? Is that Jim?
I think it's Dino.
Oh.
Yeah. My nephew, when he got his first 2 jobs,
I can't hear.
He didn't know how to balance his checkbook. All he knew was, I've got a bank card. I'll go buy stuff. Well, how much do you have in the bank? I don't know, but my card still works. Hey, you're kidding me, right?
Well, I must have money in the check.
Yeah. Oh no, that's just that's people so that's just normal kids, people even today. So my ex-girlfriend, this was like 5 years ago. She was like, "Oh yeah, my bank just they said I could get a new credit card, so I got a credit card." And I'm like, "Well, what's the limit on it?" She's like, 10 grand. I was like, "Oh shit." I was like, "You should just throw that thing in the trash." And she was like, "Why?" And I was like, "Well, cuz." I was like, you're going to end up using it, and you're going to rack it up." And she's like, "Oh no, I won't." I was like, "Well, just be careful, because you're not that great with money." Sure as shit, I kid you not, I think it was 3 months later, she owed like $7,500 on the card. And I was like, seriously?
And she's making minimum payments, right?
She's making a minimum.
I was like, yeah, she was making, probably. I don't know. She was making the minimum pay, probably was making the minimum payment. And I was like, are you kidding me?
Okay, Brian, what happened? Brian, what happened? Come on, Brian. What happened?
Oh my God, you're such a dickhead. He's lying about my age.
What?
You're fucking prick. Okay.
Did he fart?
How old do I look?
She must be doing
31.
35? 4?
I don't know. I think
she's like.
Okay, Amanda, I know you know the answer because he texted it to you.
No, he didn't tell me. I saw the wrong answer. Okay, so he just told somebody that I'm 38 years old. Yeah, he told me that.
He's 40.
Yeah, he's 40.
Right.
I hit him because how do you not know how old your freaking wife is?
I think this is just men, honestly. My husband, not even 20 minutes ago, was like, "When's your birthday? How old are you?" And I was like,
"What the fuck? I'm 36 years old. Do I look that stretched out already? Come on."
Guys don't give a shit about stuff like that.
Brian.
We'd forget our own birthdays if you guys wouldn't tell us about it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would.
He brags about how good he is with numbers.
He is good with numbers.
Hey, he's pretty damn good with numbers.
Fuck.
Hey,
Have you seen his Excel spreadsheet?
It's like
His
selective
spreadsheets?
hearing. Oh, his Excel spreadsheets
Nuclear
are.
reaction with a flux capacitor. Carry the two, changing its atomic isotoner into a radioactive spider. Fuck you, science.
That's Brian's bumper. There's a reason for that.
Dude, no. You learned it from me.
Brian's our
Yeah.
math whiz.
He's our stat guy.
Brian's our stat guy. He's
I
our
worked for
numbers guy.
Microsoft, and I managed a portfolio that literally had an Excel spreadsheet with 32 tabs in it that I had to manage. I got my
you know what that
master's
means?
by the time I was 24 years old.
I have
He
no
learned his
idea.
Excel from my dad.
I've never done an Excel spreadsheet in my life.
I had to do
Oh,
some
it
for
sounds a
work,
lot of fun, dude.
But you're a
Excel-
woman.
That's why I
You're-
have that's what I have Brian
Yeah,
for.
I'm a woman, therefore it doesn't count. I'm
Yeah, it doesn't
sorry.
count.
Yeah.
It doesn't
There
count.
it
Did
is.
somebody just
There it
did
is.
Brian just say that?
And you should be
I feel you,
paid
girl.
less.
I feel
And you
you.
should be paid less for knowing.
Brian, I didn't say
Oh,
that.
fuck yourself.
I didn't say that.
No, John probably said that.
That's
John-
why I'm
no,
so
John
thankful
said.
that I
No,
have a
John
company that
definitely said
actually
that.
takes care of
Yeah, I
me.
was going to say
What did I
that
say?
sounds like something John would
You
say.
go,
What
girl.
did I say? I
No,
just say you should be paid less for knowing it.
No, I've been like head of household wearing the pants since before we got married.
Oh,
So
well, let's not get
I
started on
take care of
that.
my
On
girl.
gender
Let's
pay
go,
gap.
girl.
I think all women should get paid equally for
and
what
that's
they know.
how my daughter will be
Right.
raised as well.
I do. I believe
I
that.
do.
I do. I think
Women-
if you have the knowledge and you have the capability of doing the same job at the same level as a man, you should be paid the same.
Hey, so I was
Absolutely.
in.
Absolutely.
Hey, John, I was union trade. So if we had a gal that was a union electrician, she got
Yeah.
the same as the boys did. There was
Okay,
no pay difference.
Yeah, that's
I brought
that's
this up
that's
earlier.
because the gender pay gap is like the boogeyman. It doesn't exist.
Not
Okay,
not in my
my
trade. It didn't
question.
exist.
No, it didn't.
My question earlier that I had to Brian when we were on mute, it was about unions, Bruce.
Right.
Oh.
Do you think that unions served their purpose during the Industrial Revolution and are
Right.
no longer needed?
No, I still think they are, but
Why?
it's also in the same breath. I also think that they've got too politically motivated and attached in today's
Yep.
society. So I think if
So-
they had stayed with the true meaning, which was to support the employees, to give them fair wages and rules and safety, and that was the main reason the union started, was because of safety.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I think if they followed the
OSHA.
original roots of what they originally started out to create, they'd be fine. But because they became so politically attached, namely to the Democratic Party, that they sometimes they overstep their bounds.
So then my next question is, if you were working at a job that was union, Bruce, and you had somebody that was like fresh out of high school, and they're hired to do the same exact job that you've been doing for 20 years, and they're getting paid the same exact shit that you are after 20 years, how does that make you feel as an employee?
Actually, it doesn't happen in where I was at. It can happen because California is not a right to work state.
Okay.
Texas would be a right to work state where that could happen. California is not one of those
Okay.
things.
North Dakota is a right to work state.
But
Yeah.
if that were to happen to
Right.
you, how would you feel if this 18-year-old freaking kid came in and you're sitting here as a 45-year-old man and he's getting paid $20-some an hour, the same as you after being there for 20 years?
No, I mean, again, it kind of does happen in union because, say, I'm a 45-year-old man and some kid just finished his apprenticeship. He gets journeyman scale. I've been in the trade
Yep.
for 40 years. I'm getting journeyman scale. It happens
It happens.
because
It
if
does.
they completed their program, they completed the training. It doesn't have anything to do with how many years you've been in. It's based on if you've completed the program and you've reached that trade level.
Okay.
Of
So then
yeah.
let's say you both reach the trade level, you both
Right.
have the same certifications and everything, right? Let's say you work your ass off, you're dedicated to your position, and this little punk comes in. He doesn't give a shit. He's there for a paycheck.
And that happens.
So the union not being able to compensate based on performance, how would that impact you? Or how
It
would
doesn't
you
because it's still not based on performance. It's based off completion of skill. Now
But
here's
what I'm saying
here's
is,
the
where's the disparity between the two? So this 20-year-old punk coming in, he's got the same expertise as you. You have more dedication, you have more heart than this little punk that's coming in.
Yep.
You know, you're still putting in the hours, but let's say that you're 10 times more productive than this little punk is in the same amount of time. How does it make you feel as an employee?
Well, I mean, what happens is this is why they have union holes. So what happens is the more productive guys, because I went through the ranks. I went through my apprenticeship, the journeyman to a foreman to a general foreman to a superintendent. So I went through all the ranks of the union where I was running the projects, multi-million-dollar jobs, where I had 80-person crews, and I had people like that. I had guys that were ball busters that knew their shit, got the stuff done, and I had guys that were there just for a paycheck, because they were entitled to the paycheck. Yeah. So what would happen was when I would come to the point of having to reduce the crew for completion, the first guys that got booted off were
the guys with the
guys that were not productive.
Right. But how does that, I thought union protected them from that sort of recourse.
So, well, we send them back to the union hall and they have to go find another job. This is what the union hall does. They go back to the book. And they wait for another contractor to call for that same body. So you'll get guys that have a reputation of that way. They may work for 12 employees in a year because they'll constantly get laid off. So they don't have, they're guaranteed the wage, but they don't have the job protection because they keep getting laid off. They'll go back to the hall and they'll go back out. But the guys that are productive and work, I mean, I had 40 years in the trade. I missed 1 week of work at 40 years because I was a productive worker. So the guys that work and do the job get protected. The guys that are just there for a check are the first ones that are gone when that job starts to slow down again.
What happens if a woman is in there and she ends up missing 12 weeks of work because she had a kid?
They're protected.
Well, right. But how does that make you feel knowing that, like, in the last 20 years, you've missed 1 week of work, whereas you have a woman who has a baby, misses 12 weeks of work, and she's still getting paid the same amount?
Well, she's not, because if she's not working, she's not getting paid. That's the thing with the union. If you don't work, you don't get a check.
But when she comes back, she's still going to be at the same pay grade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to us as females, that 12 weeks that we have to take off to recover, recuperate, and raise a child should be paid. And because unions aren't recognizing that, that's an issue. That's something that we have to deal with as women.
Well, they are now.
Disrespectful and blowing your bait while your wife's talking.
The guys actually get maternity time off if their wives have a kid to be home. That wasn't something that was there when I was in the union, but now it is. That if your wife's having a kid, you can take 2 weeks off and you can get like a minimum pay. You're not getting your full wage because it's actually subsidized from EDD.
Right, because you get a prevailing wage contribution towards.
Well, it's an EDD payoff, is what it is. So
okay, so
welcome to unemployment talk on.
So
EDD picks that up. It's like your disability thing from EDD.
Right. So I work in the retirement industry. I have a lot of companies that have union employees. They have, the collective bargaining agreements. They have the prevailing wages. They have, pay based on projects, yada, yada, yada. What I'm saying is, as a female, if I were to be employed as a project manager in like the construction industry, for example, if I were to get pregnant and have a child, right now, the company that I work for, I get 16 weeks off paid at 100%. Whereas if I were working for a construction company as a project manager, I would get minimum pay and probably not be able to put food on the table and end up having to go back to work full time sooner rather than later in order to make sure I'm providing for my family.
Right. Because a project manager in my line of work is not a union protected job because it's not a per se trade job. It's a management job. Right. So it's outside the realm of what I actually do.
Okay. So what if I was just a general laborer? Part of the union, general laborer.
Right.
I'm working right alongside with the rest of the dudes.
Yeah. So what happens is, but I mean, it'd be the same thing. So where would the guy be able to take? Okay, can't have the kid, but okay, so the gal's got the perk. If she has a kid, she gets full pay. But how come I can't get a perk like that and take 12 weeks off and get a pay?
The problem is she shouldn't have got pregnant in the first place.
You're not pushing a watermelon out of.
I'm just saying, no.
Okay,
they're going to go.
do you
Why she
hold
get?
on?
Why
Yes.
she get free money?
Yes.
Right, and
But
we're
do
not
you
getting
think
free
it's?
money.
Do you
wanna-
think there's a limit to like how long you should have to work before you get that?
Absolutely. I completely believe in FMLA. I'm not saying the day I get hired at a company, knowing that I'm 8 months pregnant, that 4 weeks down the road, instead of training, I'm going to be on maternity leave when I don't know what my fucking job is. Like, that's not fair. Completely, that is not fair. What I'm saying is equal pay, equal rights, especially for the fact that when you're a female in a penis-driven world, in a penis-driven job, why would we be subjected to less pay when we have to go through more trauma? We have to go through more time to recover after something like that.
Well,
So
what do you mean by less? I'm not saying less than who.
So some companies, and this is just an example, Mike. Some companies, you get 2 weeks leave, whether you're the mother or the father.
Right.
Oh, you're talking about company to company less.
Yep.
Right. But
I thought you were talking about.
So with this scenario,
Okay.
like
I got what you.
ask Bruce. So if a male was working with you and his significant other had a kid, the male would not get the 12 weeks off.
He gets 2 weeks.
Right. So how is that also equal pay and the equilibrium that we're talking about?
Because I mean, if it was equal, then the guy would get the same time the gal does. So it's not an equal thing.
Right.
And
Bob with
the
the penis wants to talk.
Yeah, I think they've updated that because the men now can take up to 6 weeks when their wife gets pregnant. Because I've got two buddies whose wives just had babies, and both of them got 6 weeks off.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Yeah, I think it's a constantly changing thing. I mean, when I first got in, it was unheard of, but it keeps.
I think it's one of those things that shouldn't have to be mandatory. I think it should, because I think people should. That should be just like benefits.
Yeah,
people take jobs with less pay for better benefits all the time.
And every union's different. So, like mine, I didn't have paid vacations. If mine was very simple. If you didn't work, you didn't get paid. So I didn't have paid vacations. I didn't have.
But
paid holidays.
And you knew that going in.
Yeah, I mean, there was no.
You
perks.
made that decision.
There was no perks. It quite simply came down. If you didn't work, you didn't get a check for that. It was other unions.
Do you think that was wrong, Bruce? Do you think they should have given you paid vacation?
Because what you do is if you got a higher wage versus less perks, you have like PG&E has a lower wage, more perks. So all the unions got a give and take balance act. My buddy worked for PG&E. They got 6 weeks paid vacation a year. They got bereavement pay. They got jury pay. They got so many sick days a week they would pay for. Me, I had a higher scale than he did, wage, but I didn't have any of those other perks that he had.
So they basically were expecting you to save your paycheck, knowing that you may want to take a week or two off to go to Cancun or something like that.
Right.
Or knowing that, like, if your significant other has a kid, you're going to want to take 6 weeks off. So you got to save 6 weeks worth of pay in order to take that time off.
Yeah.
So it's not really a protected benefit.
And it varies even from not overall unions. It varies from county to county because each electrician, each county is its own union.
That's right. Wherever your hall was.
Right. So my hall was, say, in San Mateo, we didn't have a vacation account. But if you went over to East Bay 595, you could voluntarily check into a vacation fund where they would take out money and put it in a vacation account. San Jose, voluntary vacation. So it all depended on what jurisdiction. And which got confusing is I bounced around all over the place. So I had to sign in and sign out. But yeah, so I mean, every single union was slightly different. And the wages were different because I mean, they're all not set the same. One wage in California was not the wage in California. It varied from county to county to county,
We love you.
Bob, I am not a Barbie girl.
You got to kill you, Bob.
That was a great song, though.
Yeah,
That was a good song.
Come on, Barbie, let's go.
Everybody be quiet for a second.
That song got the people going.
Time out. Everybody be quiet for a second. Tim, do you have anything you want to say, Tim? Knock yourself out. I know we've been keeping you quiet.
You guys got it? No, Bruce is. I was in a union job, so I went through all that stuff. So
you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. So
Tim, how are you quieter than I am? What the hell's wrong with you?
He's enjoying his buzz in his pink room.
It's because you're Tim. You're not drinking, are you?
But I will say for the union job, I mean, I was for 40 years.
Get a beer.
When I retired,
I'm going out tomorrow night. I didn't want to have to recover tonight and then have to double recover.
Go ahead, Bruce.
I mean, between your pension contributions and your health insurance and all that stuff, I mean, I was able to retire early. I retired at 59. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the union didn't save me. I worked for Virginia Power for a little while, and they went through a riff, and I got booted to the curb super fast, just because at that time it wasn't even about. It was more about just seniority. I mean, guys, so guys that were working the line or ground workers were getting first dibs at jobs like working in the warehouse just because they had 10 years under their belt.
And PG&E works the same way. They have the seniority thing where you can bid jobs based off seniority and jump classifications and all that stuff. Inside wiremen, which I was not a utility worker, is a little more straight line. You had an apprentice, you had a journeyman, you had a foreman, you had a general foreman, and those were your pay classes. And, once you got your journeyman ticket after the apprenticeship, then it was up to your job skill and whether you got promoted on the project or anything else like that or with the contractor.
Yeah, I think maybe
you couldn't hop around.
Right. I think maybe back then there was a little bit more padding in terms of like what in that environment people would call dead wood. There was guys that had like 25 years that probably were just riding the gravy train. They were getting called in at 2 a.m. and doing double time. They didn't get the fuck out of the truck. They sat in the truck while the young bucks dug in the frozen ground to find that fault line, that wire that had a fault in it.
Right.
And then when the riff came around and they started shifting people around, it was like, okay, well, I just didn't have the protection from the union because of the way the hierarchy worked at that point in time. But Bruce also mentioned the project managers, like those were all the corporate assholes that sat in the building behind us, and they weren't protected under the same thing. So, and I worked for the grocery union as well. That operated almost very similar. It was like when I went in, I was like, yeah, well, I'm free. I can work full time. Like, well, it's union, and basically you're not going to be able to get the full-time benefits until like basically somebody like dies or retires because you had all these 10, 15, 20-year people who were padded. I was getting full-time hours. I just wasn't getting the full-time benefits out of it.
Yeah, you weren't indentured, so to speak.
Exactly. So I mean, I went through all that, and then and then I migrated over to the corporate world. So
my union was a little more simple and straightforward. It's not as complicated to work as working for utility and stuff like that. So I mean, there was no bargaining. I mean, say if I was a foreman for one shop and I got laid off and I had to go back to union hall, I was hired as a journeyman going back to the next shop.
Yeah.
I didn't keep my seniority as a foreman because I lost that when I left the company.
Right.
There was, they had the option of, what you could be on a foreman call out on a book, but you had to complete a class to have that foreman classification where the employer could name call you off a book as a foreman. But if they did so, they had to pay you at foreman scale for a year minimum because they specifically called you off the book to hire you.
Yeah. And
then the deal was if they specifically called you off the book to hire you, then they had to commit to having to pay you foreman for a year or until you were terminated, So
yeah. No, I mean I think unions definitely did serve a purpose to some degree to protect you from that corporate environment, because it, they were really built on the idea of protecting the workers, who were vulnerable from the corporate machine. But with anything else, unions can get a little corrupt too. So
they do. Yeah. Look at the Teamsters.
Hey, don't bring up the Teamsters.
Come on, John, you were there.
I was there.
Yeah. So I mean, I was.
Did ever find Jimmy, John?
Hey, when those fuckers from Stockton would show up into our Exide branch, and they brought in these big fucking Italian guys in there, I just started laughing. I was just like, this isn't South Philly. Where'd you find these guys? And they look like they were straight from New York.
They brought the goons in. They brought the goons in,
about, dude. In Stockton, there's a lot of Italians there. That's where my family came. They came from New York to Stockton.
Yeah, this guy comes in there, and I just like looking at this guy, and he's, I was laughing, and everybody's like, "Oh, look at these guys, dude! Who are these guys? Oh, that's the union guys from the Union Hall in Stockton, the Teamsters, because they wanted to try to get the union in the X side there, and I was the only one to this day. I was the only one that voted no. I didn't want them there because, again, I had seniority. I was a top paid driver. I was already there for 10 years, so I didn't need the union. And I tried to tell these guys, I said, we don't produce anything here. We don't make anything. Everything comes from Kentucky. The batteries are produced in Kentucky. They're put on a pallet. A guy from that company drives them over to fucking California, drops them in Lathrop, where we were picking up our pallets, and we would deliver them to Craig. We didn't make anything. And I kept trying to tell these guys, Excite will just close this branch down and give it to one of the smaller branches. And that's exactly what they did. And I was the only one. It was 15 yeses and 1 no. I was the only no. I was like, I already seen this. I already pictured what was going to happen. And I was just like, I will all be out of here before this. And then my boss, I came back in, and after they voted the union in, we all went down there. I still part of it, even though I voted no. I still had to go to the union, and now all those promises that they were making, they had, they wanted, the reality kicked in. There's like, okay, well, we can't do this. That's too much money. And all of a sudden, the guys are just kind of sitting there thinking, we fucked up. We weren't going to get. We're going to lose our vacation. We're going to lose the pay scale that we were already on. We're going to lose our times. And I just sitting there laughing, and I'm just like, I told you guys, this is exactly what's going to happen. Then my boss comes up to me and goes, "Oh, since you have seniority, we're going to close this branch down. But since you have seniority, you'll be one of the last guys to leave." And I go, "No, I'm taking tomorrow off." He says, "Well, you're going to take tomorrow off for what?" I said, "Because I'm going to go look for a job tomorrow." He says, "You can't. You're not going to do that." I said, "Yeah, I'm taking tomorrow off because I'm going to find a job." And that's I got a job the very next day, and it was the first time I got a job from the computer. That's how it was back then. It was hotjobs.com. I saw this job. I applied for it. I hit send, and then 5 minutes later, I get an email. It's like, "Hey, can you come in tomorrow for an interview?" I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, the job's yours. They're going to hire you." So I called my boss up. I said, "I'm done. I quit." And he goes, "You can't do that." I go, "Yeah, I already got another job, and it paid more, and I had to drive a little further, but I got paid more." But and then I got fucked because I went to work there for 3 days, and then because the union had already established itself, I had to go back. I had to tell my new employer that I had to go back to work to the old company for 1 week so I can get the 3 months of benefits that I was going to lose. They were going to take me right off and I couldn't do that because Katrina was just started, with the lupus and lost her kidneys and stuff. So I couldn't mess around. So I had to quit my job that I just got. And thank God that employer's like, "Yeah, go ahead, go back to work over there for a week and just come back and we'll start over, And so I had to go back to work for Exide for a week so I could collect the 3 months of benefits that they were going to promise everybody that lost their job. I was like, it was.
I feel like I hear more nowadays. I hear more bad stories about unions than I do good stories. Like back in the day, you hear old timers talk about it and how the unions helped them. But nowadays, I just feel like it's more politics and they're more on the side of the businesses and stuff. Like, I mean, with me, my first job, I was union, and
at Rayleigh's, right?
I wasn't able. My boss flat out told me, he's like, I want to give you a raise, but I can't give you a raise because we're union, and I'm not allowed. You're not old enough to get a promotion, and I can't give you a raise because I can't pay you any differently than anybody else, even though you work twice as hard as everybody here. And he was like, sorry, I can't give you a raise. So the union did nothing for me. They just took my money, and then when my sister got passed over for promotion she was supposed to get, and they started cutting her. She went to the union, and because she went to the union, they started cutting her hours at work. And then she went to the union for that, and they said they couldn't prove it, and they did nothing for her.
Yeah. So it all depends on the union too. I mean, I was construction trades. Construction trades.
They are strong.
Construction trades.
They're very strong. Yes. Yeah. That's true. The construction unions are very strong.
Yeah, I went to work for service. Go ahead, Bob.
Well, I was going to say Hershey's left Oakville because of the union.
Yeah,
because they signed a 3-year contract. After 1 year, they went on strike for more money and more benefits.
Yeah.
So after a half a year of negotiation, they signed a new contract, another 3-year contract. Well, another year later, they go on strike again. Hershey said, fuck it, we'll just close it down. And they moved to Mexico.
Yeah.
And then there are people who still worked at Hershey's. I know who haven't worked since Hershey's, and they're still pissed about it. I'm like, if you sign a 3-year contract, you owe them 3 years worth of work. You can't stop after a year and renegotiate.
No,
because if you want to sign a 3-year contract, then don't sign it.
Yeah,
we always had them if no job is as good as that raise they were trying to get.
Yeah, we always had 2 or 3 year contracts, but we never renegotiated an active contract.
Yeah,
we always waited until it was expiring to grant the negotiations. But I mean, I was in for 4 years.
That's the world we live in, though.
We never went on strike. At least my local, we threatened. You always have to have the strike vote because that's your leverage in negotiations.
Yeah,
but we never literally went out on strike. We always struck a deal. In the 40 years I was in. So I mean, I guess I was just one of those lucky guys, but you know.
But my whole deal is if you're gonna sign a 3-year contract, but you're not gonna fulfill it, if I'm management, what's in it for me to sign a new contract knowing that you're probably not gonna fulfill that?
No, yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, if you sign a 3-year deal, you fulfill your 3-year deal.
Yeah, it's a contract.
Yeah. Yeah. Even when I was in the union, for the only union that ever did anything for me was the one when we worked at Livermore Lab, and they always took care of us. I mean, my uncle retired from there almost 25 some years, and he retired early because it was just he made bank. He made bank.
I mean, I was putting 13. I was capped. The IRS, Internal Revenue Service, caps our contributions into my pension. I could only put so much an hour, and they cap it because they don't want you saving that money. They want to tax it now.
Yeah.
They don't want to wait till you retire. They want to get that tax from now. So they cap how much you can put an hour into your IRA.
Well, it's the same thing as IRA. It's the same thing as an IRA. I mean, they only let you right now. 15%. I think the max is.
Yeah, because they don't want to wait till you retire. They want the money now.
15%.
So I was $13 an hour is my cap, as much as I could put in, right? But I mean, I was able to retire at 59 years old.
Yeah.
Because you were able to get your full pension at early retirement age of 59. They're not all the same.
And every local is different. Like mine, some people have like a split thing where half IRA, half 401. My local was all 401k. So
and that's
at
what
59 and a half, I get a penalty, but there's a way around that.
Yeah.
If you leave it in the original 401k, you can retire before 59 and a half and draw that without the retirement. If you move it in the 401 to an IRA, then you hit the early retirement penalty.
But leaving it in the 401k, depending on how your plan is set up, you're going to end up paying fees out the ass.
By the way, this is what she does for a living.
So what I did was I left
Real House.
I left 1 year left in the 401k. I moved the rest of the IRA and I drew off the 401k to avoid the early retirement penalty.
Yep, you
Let
did
the 401 draw out, and then started tapping the IRA after that. That took a whole lot of research to figure that out.
Yeah, it's called an in-service distribution. And
Yep.
Yep.
That was the only way around the 59.5
right.
retirement
Yeah.
thing.
I work on a couple of pensions. Mine are
So you know that loophole, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I took like 4 exams in order to learn all these fucking loopholes. So
yep.
No more loopholes.
How old were you when you retired, Bruce?
I was 59.
Yep.
59. Nice. My goal's 55.
Yeah. Well, I could have gone earlier. Met with my financial guy. He says, "Why the hell are you still working?" And then after that, I have to look. Well, I worked for 3 years after the wife passed, and I was kind of losing interest. And I was, working 6 days a week, 16 hours a day, driving to the Bay Area, 4 or 5 hours on the road. And it's like I was making bank, but I would get into the project. I'd figure the project out. I'd have 20 to 60 guys working, and I would get bored. Because I'd go in there and I'd engineer it, draw the construction drawings, get the crews going, get the budgets going, get the materials delivered, get all the coordination done. Then I'm just kind of sitting there, micromanaging at that point.
Thing is you're supposed to work to live. You're not supposed to live to work.
Yeah,
and then I'm sitting. Yeah,
that's why
I'm going like, I'm just like, I'm just burned out. So I told I'm going to retire. No, yeah, I'm going to retire.
And anybody
6 months later, I'm going to retire, guys. This is the date. Oh, you're not really going to retire, are you? Yeah. Right up to the week I retired, they were still refusing to admit that I was going to retire.
And the biggest thing, so when you're
I had to lay myself off, right? Literally call them and come and pick up the truck, and somebody give me a ride home, and they still were not accepting the fact that I was gone.
The biggest gap that you have to account for, like Mike, if you're planning on retiring at 55. You need to account for a 10-year gap in medical insurance because you're not going to qualify for Medicare until you're 65. So you're going to have 10 years of premiums eating into your retirement dollars.
Right.
You want to do that.
So my plus, Mike, when I retired was
it depends on if I have a wife that has insurance.
We could bank insurance hours right where I work.
Right? Yeah. Damn,
you're not getting me in trouble here. What the hell is your problem?
Yeah. So I could bank I could bank hours for healthcare. So I banked.
We're a team, aren't we?
I banked 3 years of healthcare hours.
Until you got me slapped.
Hold on, Bruce is talking, guys.
So I banked 3 years of health insurance already banked, right? That the union paid out of that bank. This year I finally have to start paying out of pocket. But because I'm still in the union plan, it's $350 a month for my full insurance, dental, medical, all that stuff. Once I get Medicare, then it drops down to $160 a month, and Medicare picks up part of the premium. So.
Yeah,
right, but that's because you're a union employee, and when you're a union employee, they don't pay into Social Security the same way as other employers do, and so when you're looking at retirement benefits, if you don't have a union job and you have just the regular like corporate job or laborer job and you're not part of a union, you have to account for a potential of $1,000 a month coming out for health insurance alone.
Yeah, I'm paying $350 a month right now.
Yeah, when my uncle when he retired early too, Bruce, and he was doing the same thing. He got so bored because he literally was doing nothing. He was going to the lab checking door hinges and friggin' knobs on doors. To make sure they still, and that's all he did for 12 hours a day. He just walked around checking broken windows. He's like, here I am. I'm this high-paid supervisor. I built half of the buildings here. And now you got me walking around checking door and hinges, checking door locks, window sills. And he's just like, I'm done. He's done.
No, I was bored. I mean, I would, the first month on the project, it was into it. I mean, I was drawing work drawings and shop drawings and construction drawing. Because, when we get a blueprint, it's diagrammatic. Nothing's rarely circuited. The paths from point A to point A aren't drawn. I mean, I've got to do all the conduit paths, the coordinations with all the other trades, draw all these construction drawings because, I have to hand that to my crew. I've got to show to point A to point B what size the pipe's going to be, what wires are going to be in the pipe, what we're going over and under. I mean, the whole kit and caboodle, the lighting. So, I mean, I draw all that stuff up, but I create the construction documents.
At any
then
point,
I turn my crew loose, right?
At any point during your retirement, was there a point in time that you got bored and you thought about doing a part-time job?
No,
No,
because
well, you couldn't, for one, because the union
I
wouldn't allow.
couldn't do any electrical work part time
Right.
because in that I would lose. They would actually freeze my pension benefits if they
Right.
caught me doing electrical work. Even working at Home Depot, anything electric related, they literally could freeze my. In the state of California, I could go out of state and do it. I'd still collect my pension, but in the state of California, they would freeze my pension. But no, I never got bored enough because I thought I'm going to take up golf full time, or close to full time.
You had a hobby.
And I could travel because we had COVID shut down. So I'd fly down to Mexico 3-4 times a year, just go down to Cabo or Playa de Carmen and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Run up to Reno. I had projects around the house to do, so I wasn't bored enough. We're going, I want to go find something to do,
Yeah,
And then,
my other uncle, when he retired from Chevrolet, he couldn't do anything. He couldn't work at a dealership. He couldn't work. He tried to even get a job at a car rental place, and they wouldn't let him do it because it was still involved cars.
Yeah, I couldn't do anything that involved electrical.
Hey, Bruce,
Yeah.
you ever want any arm candy to go with you to Mexico? I'm available.
Well, because the last time I went there, my wingman was really disappointed because, man, he did. That's
I'm
Joe.
a great wingman.
Joe.
I took Joe down the last trip we went down there, and he got like a sinus infection, man. He was just like not with it for the whole week we were down there,
That sounds like Joe.
Poor guy, man. Jeez.
So Bruce, like, if we plan on going down to Vegas in time from North Dakota, we're gonna let you know you're gonna come out with us, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
I've been to Vegas in a while. I always go to Reno because I get comped in Reno all the time. So.
Well, just let me know. Well, just let us know.
But
we'll
with me on your arm, you'd get comped in Vegas, baby.
Vegas is fun. You know what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, right?
She's never been to Vegas. I have once.
She's never been to Vegas?
Never.
Oh, it's a sidewalk show, man.
It's a great time, and
It is.
As long as you don't
Bob. It's a sidewalk show.
Well,
Man.
when you guys plan a trip down there, Brian, let us know and we'll all
get
go
it.
down there.
We'll all go down there, yeah.
Get a big. Well, what we did was we were at the Treasure Island, so we took a cab over to where Emeralds is, and we ate at Emeralds.
Right.
And then we walked back. We walked the strip back. And you will never have more fun in your life than walking the strip and people watching.
Yeah. And
everything imaginable will happen on the street.
Yeah,
and then, if you go down to you go down to old Vegas, the Canopy?
Yeah, the old
Fremont Street.
Fremont Street.
Yep.
Yeah,
Fremont
they have a
Street.
whole light show.
It's great time.
You can zip line down Fremont Street.
Yep.
The zip line was not there when I was there.
I'm totally gonna do that. I love ziplining.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say is my sister and her husband are actually looking at building a house right outside of Vegas. And so once it's done, I'm totally gonna be like part-time caretaker.
Yeah, we had an uncle that was down in it still is Lake Las Vegas in Henderson. So
yeah, and then you'll end up with pamphlets. Go ahead, Bob.
If you want to win money though, playing cards like 21 and stuff, go to Fremont Street during the day, the slowest.
Yeah.
Find yourself a dealer about 65 years old, and if he's got no one at his table, sit down. He will let you win for an hour because he's bored. He's got nothing else to do. And yes, dealers, they have dealers who know how to win. They have dealers who know how to make you lose. Because we had a table in Reno one time. There was 6 of us, all from work. We had a big party going, and we're drinking, having a good time. We're all playing 21. We're winning. So they changed dealers, and they brought in this little Oriental lady, and she's hitting 5-card 21s and stuff. And we're losing.
You down.
So we all got up like we were ready to leave, and then the pit boss comes and goes, no, we'll change dealers. And they brought in another guy, and we were all winning again, having a good time.
Yeah.
Because we were going to spend more money.
I'm not a big gambler, and I'm very frugal with money because I'm married to Brian. And so, like, when I go, I just want to see things and I want to people watch. Like I don't want to waste my money at gambling.
Well, there's a lot of shows and stuff
That drum
there
roll,
all the time.
drum roll needs to be way louder.
You just
There's a
walk down
lot
the
of shows and
sidewalk
stuff you
people
can go
watching
to.
in Vegas. So
There you go. That's much
Even-
better.
I mean, if I could see a show and like find a cheap show that's actually good, I would love to see like Cirque du Soleil.
Okay, so the shows in Vegas.
I went to Cirque du Soleil. It was really good.
Yeah, so
yeah, they're
long,
not cheap. They're
but it
not
was
cheap
good.
though.
Yeah, so
No,
the
they're
good
not
shows-
cheap, but
Yeah,
it's pretty
good
good though.
shows are a lot of money. The cheap
Yeah,
shows, the impersonator shows are
But
very.
you get 2 drinks.
Oh,
You can
I
go
Yeah,
there.
but
They aren't great.
but when you pay good money, you get a good show. I'm telling you, like the
absolutely.
Cirque du Soleil
I
was
do like-
expensive.
I do like one
But-
expensive good show and go to Cirque du Soleil like one night, and then the
Right.
rest of the time would be like trannies that are pretending to be Tina Turner kind of thing.
Yeah,
Like,
those
Yeah,
are
no.
You do,
I'm
you do
totally
that.
interested by that. I'm
you
fine
get
with that.
dinner.
So I'd pay good money like one night to go see like a really good
Yeah.
Soleil show, and like the rest of it, I don't give a shit if it's even just on the street and there's like random people impersonating. I'd sit and watch. Like,
But
Oh
do-
yeah, you
do-
get shows for free in Vegas.
Yeah.
You do, and you have the,
I mean, I don't need to see anybody's dick or anything, but
Well,
No,
No, I'm not talking like that. I'm
You have-
talking
you have
about like
the-
people
you
watching.
have what they call the cabaret shows, which is the dancing girls and all that stuff.
right,
You still have a lot of those. You go in there, they're pretty cheap, or have a 2-drink minimum.
right.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
all
Yeah,
the time, like if you walk down the strip, they have people handing
It's
out
called the
all these,
Gentleman's
like,
Club, Bruce.
all these like, cards and all that stuff, to people, and they can meet
Yeah.
people.
There's still
Free
shows.
shows.
We'll get her into a strip club yet.
oh my
There's
god,
still
what-
shows. There's still shows that are like $50.
Hey,
And
Brian, we're gonna get your wife into a strip club.
I
Of
took it
course.
to a strip club. I was
Oh,
drunk.
she's been there, yeah.
Fine. Okay, my question. I've had this question for probably going on 20 years now.
Oh Lord,
Why are there no porno films with actual real redheads? They're all either auburn, strawberry blonde, or they're dyed.
the freckles
Why
don't work
Are
well with the
real
cameras.
redheads not allowed to do porn?
But how do you know they're not a real redhead, or they are a real redhead?
Because it has something to do with, something to do with the lighting and freckles. Lighting and freckles. It doesn't.
Well,
get-
they shave the carpet nowadays, Bob, so you can't tell. So
it has a lot.
Carpet's making a comeback.
carpet making a comeback.
Yeah,
Carpet's making a comeback.
yeah,
I think carpet's been making a comeback for a little bit.
yeah.
think so?
They're just not as bushy as
Yeah.
they used to be in the '70s. Yeah,
No, it's
Oh
not
yeah,
like
no,
a
the 80s.
bush.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
a trim
man.
carpet.
We're not talking
now, huh?
about shag carpet. We're talking
Yeah.
about
It's
trimmed
not
up.
like a little.
No,
little
you're
forest.
talking about the first time you're like 18, about to get laid. The girl undresses and she's got like buckwheat in a leg lock. Okay,
Yeah.
we're not talking that anymore. Okay,
No, we're not talking about that.
No, it's down. It's shaved. It's nice.
Buckwheat in a leg lock.
Bacon strip.
Okay,
Bacon strip.
Bacon strip.
have you guys ever thought about how it makes the female feel though? Like when you have a female that is completely shaven, okay, it makes you feel like a 12-year-old girl, and like you're with a pedophile.
wait, only if she doesn't have any
No,
boobs.
no, because some girls,
Only if she doesn't have
I know
boobs.
a couple girls
I
that do
feel
it all the
that way,
time.
and I do have boobs.
Yeah, but I know a couple
I
girls.
don't completely shave 100% because it makes me feel gross. It makes
Yeah,
me
but
feel like I'm being raped by a pedophile.
but
I
there's
think
some
that's
girls
person
that,
to person because
yeah, because there's some girls I
every
know
girl
that like
I've been
it
with
like
has
that.
been
They
complete
like it like
shaven.
that. They feel it's cleaner. It's
Every
easier
girl.
for them to maintain. Yeah,
Every
not
girl
all.
I've been
every older girl you've been with.
Okay. There may have been like one or two
Older
that like
girl?
I think I've only ran into it once where she
What?
wasn't.
What's older?
And
Yeah,
that
what is
freaks me
older?
out.
I mean,
No,
I mean,
even the older women
Yeah,
were
they-
clean
yeah.
shaven.
yeah,
Okay,
they
but
like it 'cause
there's
it's
an
cleaner.
obvious difference.
I could say I run into it. I'd say more clean shaven than not. So
Okay.
Oh yeah,
I
for
get it.
sure.
Yeah.
It's easier to maintain for them. It's easier to maintain.
If okay,
Well, you know-
let's say you take clean shaving completely off the table, right?
Right.
All natural,
Uh-huh.
nicely trimmed.
Oh, Nestle
Yes.
trimmed, yeah,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah. I mean,
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
you don't want
Yeah,
to
landing
have
strip
on
or
like
a
an
triangle,
actual
fine.
shag carpet.
Yeah.
yeah.
But I don't want a poodle popping back. You know,
I don't
on
want
the
to be.
shorts
I
like
don't
that.
want to fall in there and disappear.
You
if
don't
we're
have to
talking
get
like just like a
you know,
landing strip.
I mean,
or
you literally
something,
got to get the
that's
safety
fine.
glasses on and get the weed whacker and just
Okay.
going for a trip.
So-
The welding helmet.
Question.
I don't want to get my pick out.
Get the
Why?
safe, yeah,
I
get
don't
the
want to
safety
get my
glasses
pick out
on.
just to find things. You know what I mean?
Question being that I'm the only female in, a penis-driven world again. Why do men not do the same thing for women?
Oh, you're talking about the wrong guys.
Good question.
She asked a question. She wanted to know what I was raising my hand. I do that.
Yeah,
it's called manscaping.
You got to manscape.
You manscape. Tell Brian to clean up his Chewbacca ass.
No.
I do.
I'm not talking about manscaping. He does very well.
Yeah.
Do you guys not realize that there is a natural odor when a chick goes down there?
Oh, we know.
Well, yeah.
There's a natural order the other way too, right? You know that, right?
It works both
I
ways.
get that.
It works both ways.
I get that.
It goes both ways.
I get that. I know that you guys are going to the tuna shack. I get it. So,
man, if it smells like tuna, Mike's out of there. Mike's gone.
Chicken smells like chicken.
Okay, so it shouldn't smell like tuna or chicken. I get it.
No.
So there's a natural scent when it comes to males and females. Is every female, when you are down there, does it smell like body odor?
Well, that's like I said, that's because you got our nutsack laying up against our taint and our legs.
Right.
I mean, we can't help that.
There's no airflow.
But some girls are troopers. Some girls don't care. I mean, I've had girls that I used to call over every day after I get off work, and I won't take a shower. And she never complains.
They do make manscaped powders and all that stuff.
Yeah, they make great powders
that area up. So
I mean, there's ways around it.
Oh no,
you're not all walking around smelling like sweaty balls.
When I was like 18 or 19, I told Brandon I wanted to make dick deodorant.
Yeah.
That would totally be right up my alley. Like, I'm not saying that there shouldn't be a natural scent, because obviously you're attracted to your man for a natural scent.
There shouldn't be a natural scent. A taste, yes. A scent, probably not.
You're attracted to your female because of their natural scent. Like, it's all like this whole, animal thing that we got going on. But my question is there certain men and certain women?
Is there a threshold? Is what you ask.
Right. Like, I mean, if he's working out or running around the house, I'm not going to go down on him.
Well, no, that's but that's person to person too, because some people think that just gives it a little flavor, a little character.
Yeah. I mean, other people go take a shower.
Not everybody likes Brussels sprouts. Is all.
Yeah, but I'm going to go down on you, and I'm going to get a mouthful of
some people shower before, some people shower after.
Yes, but that's the thing is some people, it depends on their smell. Like like you were saying, everybody's got a smell. Well, if a woman's natural taste or smell is good, if she just gets home from work, I don't mind going down there if she smells and if her natural smell and taste is good. Now, if it's not the best, you should probably go take a shower, because we don't want to expound on your natural smell.
Yeah, I mean, at certain times when I smell certain things, I mean, I just get.
If a girl's natural smell and taste is good, I don't care if you just got home from the gym. Daddy's hungry.
If you're talking about natural taste, natural smell, if you like it, do you tell them?
Oh yeah,
of course.
You wash it up.
Because I firmly believe there's some that taste really good and some that no. Yeah. But when it's great, and you got to let them know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what you'd be doing down there.
I have never
but that's heaven.
A comment to the positive or the negative on any of that.
Yeah.
Ever.
There's that word neutral again.
Neutral.
Neutral oil, Brian. Neutral oil.
Neutral in his marriage.
Brian's
Well, I
typically
mean,
about Brian.
I wouldn't worry about
one way
it
to
if
find
these
out
two
is how
haven't
much.
gotten negative.
One way to
or
find out
positive.
is how much time he spends down there. If it's a short trip or a long trip,
Yeah.
right? Long trip, there's a clue. He's liking what he's doing. If it's a short trip,
Yeah, is he just bringing a personal bag or
If you get the tap on the back of the head, it's time to come up.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. You know, we get that little tap. Okay, you've had your fun. Get up
You
here.
had your fun. Yeah.
Oh,
on to the next level.
Okay, next question. Do you kiss them on the mouth afterwards? Yes or no?
Well,
kiss, yes,
yeah.
make out,
Depends on
no.
Yeah.
who was doing what.
Yeah, no. That all depends. That all depends. Because of course when you're young, everybody's like, no, of course I don't.
I mean,
But as you grow up, you become an adult.
Yeah.
You got to step up to the plate.
If I don't finish, then yeah, sure, there's no problem at all.
Yeah.
Now, if I do, you can catch a kiss, but you ain't catching the makeout until you drink some water or something.
You know, pet. That's it.
You got to have a rinse, right?
No, yeah. I'm sorry. Like, I'll give you a kiss.
Who doesn't wash their balls?
Yeah, see that's true though, because I had an ex one time that told me that her ex-husband, we were showering and she was like, I'm glad you actually shower, and I'm like, what does that even mean?
Yeah,
and she was like, well, my ex-husband would just like kind of like glaze over it, like she was like he wouldn't really like wash himself like that well down there, and I'm like, oh no, like I make sure that's like
loofah, baby.
It's like my arm. Yeah, it's like my arm.
The loofah out.
I don't know about
There's
the
a couple
loofah. That'd be a
places
little rough,
you
John,
need to
but
go
yeah.
extra. You need to make sure you get extra scrubbing on, and the taint and the balls is one of them.
You get the Brillo pad out.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I got
full
the
on
men's
loofah.
shower gel,
Get
you
the
know,
dead
the
skin
Old
off the
Spice.
balls.
Nice, you know, puts a little scent down there.
Yeah, and the loofah feels good. It's like you're scratching your nuts.
Okay, so then my next question is, the best time to go down on a woman is typically right after she's had a bath.
For sure.
Okay?
Yeah.
Or when you get out of the hot tub.
Take it or leave it.
Yeah, because sometimes the chlorine's a little rough.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
So,
Let's be honest.
Why do men...
Hold on, let her finish the question.
It's always a good time to go down on a woman. You don't need a special time. You just
That's not true, John.
Well, that's not
let's
true.
finish,
John,
let her
yeah.
finish the question.
go ahead.
Okay, so if the best time to go down on a woman is after she's taken a bath, you know, soaked in there, she's shaved her legs, she's had some wine, she's all
Bath or shower?
No, bath.
Okay.
Bath is totally different.
Yeah, be quiet. Be quiet.
So,
you don't know what you're talking about.
Really not.
If the best time to go down on a woman is after she's taken a bath, then why do men not take baths, knowing that...
Because we don't like spitting in our own filth.
We don't like soaking in our water. We like
we feel like
rinsing it
we're
off.
soaking in our own filth.
Yeah, we don't, you got to remember there's a different chemistry and like you coming home from your work, from your office and laying in the bath, where Bruce coming from a construction site,
shower.
He's not going to lay in a hot bath.
Nope, I'm not hitting the shower, man.
He may take a shower first and clean him, because when I worked construction, I used to take a shower first. If my body was sore and hurting, then I would turn on a hot bath. But I would shower first and get all the filth off of me.
Yeah.
And the other thing I think is too is the size. Size is a factor.
Yeah, and I don't fit very well.
Guys don't fit well in tubs. And like either your legs are all the way out or the whole upper half of your body's out. It's just not.
Yeah,
it doesn't really work that well.
Something's not in the water.
Yeah, I'm 6'4". I'm 6'4". I'm not fitting in many
bags. That's the biggest point. If you're soaking the tea bags and you're getting all the funk out of the tea bags, like
you don't need to soak it though.
Why would you soak the tea bags? They don't want to be soaked.
They're already wrinkled.
You could rinse
if you don't know how to scrub yourself, well, then there's a problem.
Look, you just got to take care of it.
Okay, so with me, like I've only taken like since I was
We don't need to know how
Since you were
grew
like
up in the family.
5. That was the last time we took a bath.
right about that, yeah. But anyways, I've taken a few baths, and the reason why I took a few baths was because I actually had very bad sunburn on my back,
Yeah.
and I put on I turned the tub ice cold water and just chilled in that water for a good 12 hours. And it really
12
helped.
hours.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
say
No,
12 hours.
it was bad.
Holy shit.
It was bad.
I can't. I get pruny really quick.
12 hours in ice cold bathtub.
And shrinkage. Don't forget
You
about
get the
shrinkage.
wrinkles, man.
I think baths are just a total girl thing. Because like when over the New Year's when I went to Reno, we had one of those jetted big bathtubs in the bathroom, and she was like, "Well, let's go take a bath." I'm like, "All right, whatever."
Yeah.
Like, so we did, and she loved it. I mean, it was cool for me, but like John said, I'm just sitting there with like shrinkage for one.
Yeah, you got shrinkage going, man.
And I'm just
hot water.
Yeah.
Guys, you totally got to do the whole Richard Gere, Julia Roberts, wrap your legs around them kind of thing. Sit there and
Well, let's not forget.
That's different, though. That's different.
Why am I got you up on this
That's like a
bathtub? We're not even
romantic
in the
sort of
bathroom
connective
floor.
interlude.
Yeah, exactly.
But like solo on your own, you're not like, oh, let me go get the Calgon and load up the. Oh, where's that blueberry bath bomb that I bought off of Amazon yesterday?
I don't think I've ever lit a candle in a bathtub yet. You know.
Yeah, let's get the
normally if I'm
candles
taking a
out.
bath,
Me
it's
neither.
Epsom salt because I heard something. You know.
Let's be honest. You girls are taking the bath.
Yeah.
Honestly, okay.
Yeah.
You girls are taking the bath because it's an opportunity for some quiet fucking time. It's
That's
not
it.
about the bath. It's not about the warm water, the bubbles. It's about that.
It's about getting away from us.
An hour of you just getting away from the kids,
Yeah.
work,
The husband,
the horny husband, all that stuff. It's just your way of just getting away.
Oh yeah, because if you invite us in there, we're messing that
Oh
whole bath up.
yeah.
That's right.
Like she know.
I don't care.
Brian muted you.
If you're my girl and you're naked, we ain't having. There ain't no relaxing time.
There is no more water left in the bathtub.
There ain't no relaxing going on. That'll last all of 3 minutes. Just like when I have a girl over and I turn the moves on.
Brian's laughing about that now because he knows that rule.
Brian's
Oh
muting
hell
you.
yeah! Don't call me in there.
What?
You better
My wife's
unmute her.
naked in the house?
You better
Oh,
unmute her.
no.
She's gonna kick your ass.
I mean, it most of the time it's like if you just graze by me, it's on. So if you're naked in the bathtub,
Okay, he finally let me unmute.
it's game
I'm
over.
sorry to interrupt you, Mike.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I do have to expose my husband just a tiny bit.
Yeah. He did it again.
Oh, he muted her.
Oh man.
Knock it off.
Knock it
I'm
off.
gonna put you in timeout.
Ooh, time out.
Time out.
Stop it. Okay, so we had a 2-bedroom condo for our honeymoon.
Oh, Brian just didn't want you to tell the story. That's what it is.
He didn't want me to tell the story. So we had this 2-bedroom honeymoon. In the master suite, there was a huge jacuzzi tub
Nice.
in with the bed, and you could see the TV and everything like that.
Oh, dope.
Okay, right. So I ran a bath, and it was huge, definitely big enough for the two of us.
Bath or Brian?
I sat in it by myself.
Oh, fuck, Brian.
Oh, hell no.
Brian.
Well, that never happened. Yeah.
Okay, wait. Hold on. Did you guys have sex like right before that?
Before?
No.
Oh, well then, Brian, I don't know what your problem is.
Did you have sex after that?
Brian.
I mean, I would have had the
Because
mask
I'm telling
and
you
the
right
snorkel
now,
on, Brian, going in.
If we haven't had sex in the last like hour,
Yeah.
and you get naked,
Yeah.
it's game on.
Yeah.
No. My husband is
I can't
not
tell you how many
typical
times my girl was late to shit because
No,
she was
so-
changing,
No,
and I was
he
like,
is
"Oh,
not the
sorry,
typical
you did it."
He's not the typical man at all.
So my thought on that was, it's kind of like our retreat. So I'm like, if you want to go there and chill, I'm just gonna leave you alone. Just relax.
I wanted to get railed.
Well, didn't say that.
Okay, well that's the other thing too.
You have to spell it out.
But no,
some guys you gotta put the sign up, and say, now.
Basically, she said,
"Access granted."
Access granted.
Right.
But did she tell you to come in there though?
Yes, I asked him twice. I did.
Okay, see, now you guys are saying opposite stories. But if she asked you, that's your fault.
Oh yeah, there's a sign.
Are you sure you don't want to come in? Are you sure? He laid on the bed and we watched some TV while I was sitting in the jacuzzi by myself.
Yeah, dude, you messed up. You messed up.
I mean, we did have sex a lot.
I'll admit it. I'm a horn dog. There's no way.
Yeah,
you get naked, game on.
I saw a shoulder blade. You were done.
Yeah. Don't even change your shirt.
Hey, sometimes it's just a bare leg above the knee is enough to kick it in.
If you put an outfit on and you don't like the shirt you got on, you better make sure I'm not in the room.
Make sure I left the room.
Make sure I left the room, cause
I had outfit after outfit that I packed. Like I literally was not expecting to leave that condo the entire weekend. And I'm like, are you sure you don't want to get in the bath? And like afterwards I put my lingerie on and he was all about it. Like 3 hours later.
He read the situation wrong.
He's not the typical man. He doesn't need to have sex every day. If I could have sex every day, absolutely 100%.
There's just some people that aren't like that though.
Yeah, he's not.
But I'm kind of like the rabbit, so.
Yeah, that was my nickname.
Cornejo.
That was my nickname in high school. The
rabbit.
The rabbit.
Did you know that like 89% of redheads are nymphos?
What's that?
89%.
I guess I should have been born a redhead.
89% of redheads are nymphos.
See, I
did not know that statistic.
I gotta find me a damn redhead.
Oh man! So now she tells me because I just hooked up with a redhead on Tinder that lives in.
Now I'm swiping right. Every redhead I'm swiping.
No, I swipe.
I'm gonna look for like a redhead dating site.
And immediately she started a conversation, and then she sent me her phone number. I talked to her, and she lives up on the coast. And she goes, "Are you retired?" I go, "Yeah." She goes, "Well, then you've got some time on your hands and make for a long drive." And it was like, well, there was a literal hint there,
Oh yeah, that was a definite.
The only thing that you have to know about redheads, though, is we are feisty and we are crazy.
Yeah, that's
you guys aren't.
Yep.
You guys are not wallflowers.
Exactly. If you can't handle it, then you just don't even.
Well, I asked her if she was a real redhead, though.
Who is this person? Is that you?
I don't know who Maverick is. Apparently he's going in.
Yeah, Maverick and Mystic Mage.
Appreciate Maverick for joining
Hey, there's Frank the Tank.
Frankie.
The first tank.
Hi, Frank.
That was my son's nickname before the movie. He was named the Tank, Frank the Tank.
We wanted him to get a tattoo of a tank coming over his shoulder.
Yeah.
And then like shooting like bullets or whatever down towards like his ass crack.
Yeah, we were gonna stay on his pelvis right above his dick. So like the tank is...
No, we wanted him to get a big ass tank like rolling over his shoulder. It would have been dope.
Funny.
He should still get it. But his wife will never let him.
There's no way he's having a tattoo. Yeah, there's no way.
Yeah, I got one tattoo. That's all I got.
Did you call me crazy on there?
Oh.
Crazy?
No, I was replying to
crucial error.
Sure.
I don't think I need to talk about how many tattoos I have.
You got
sort of self-explanatory.
You got a few.
Self-explanatory.
So
I got the one they said they were addicting, but I never went back and got any more. So.
They're addicting.
I think you need to get the tank.
No,
he's not doing the tank. He's not going to do it. I want one, but I keep chickening out.
military.
I keep chickening out the day before. I was supposed to
Why?
get the American Italian
Why
flag on the
why
back
you
of my
scared, Trunk Alley? You're a tough Italian. Come on, buddy.
How big is it, John? How big are you gonna go?
I was going to go about that big.
Oh no, dude! I have the numbing cream,
Oh,
dude.
she's
If you
got
do
a-
that
you got a
before,
few.
they could do that whole thing and it wouldn't even bother you.
Well, look at Mike's back. Show him your back.
That's
Mike.
different. Mine's a lot bigger.
Yeah.
So
What is that?
What's
That's
that?
the Celtic
It
flag.
looks like
Celtic
It looks like a crest of some sort or something, or
Celtic
what?
cross. It's the Celtic cross.
Oh,
It's
that's
an
right.
Irish-
It was a crest
No,
or
it's
something.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
I mean,
It's an Irish cult.
What is that, Brian?
It's a Maltese cross. I designed
Yeah, see?
that one. And there
It's a Celtic cross, an Irish
a
Celtic.
cultic. A cultic.
How do you say it?
Celtic.
Celtic. And it is not a Celtic cross.
I'm sorry,
the
Celtic.
Maltese cross.
Thank you.
And then it has chains going either way. Like one is for my best friend, one's for me.
My eyes aren't that good.
I was assaulted by my first fiance, and I got this shortly afterwards. The Chinese symbol in the middle is all generations of family, and then the 4 blocks are for each member of my family.
Oh,
Wow.
nice.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I just got this.
That's it. Yeah,
Is that barbed wire?
Bruce went barbed wire. Barbed wire for bicep.
It's just a tribal band is all it is. So.
Yeah.
Does it go all the way around?
I got Well, it stops. They got about a little half-inch cap.
Don't go there. That hurts.
That was the tender spot, boy. They can start getting around
That does
corner
hurt.
like
The
that.
armpit?
Yeah. Like you get inside that armpit.
You get close to that armpit, and it's
this
tender.
wasn't too bad, and I got it high enough that the sleeve generally hides it.
Yeah.
Unless I raise my arm, and then you'll see it. Or if
Mike's got a little tattoo on his back, just a little one.
yeah, you got a little tramp stamp.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's got.
He's got a dolphin on his shoulder blade.
He's got a little.
No, but John, I'll give you the cream, and if you put it on beforehand, you won't even feel like they'll be able to do that whole thing.
Still do it. I want to get.
And you won't be able to get it.
I want to get.
Did the deals for it, and then they do that. The
American Italian flag.
cellophane wrap around it for a couple hours.
Yeah.
It's a lot's changed.
My skin's really sensitive. Like if I scratch, if I even like scratch my arm, like my shoulder or something, it'll turn red. So my back, I didn't do anything, but my chest, I did the numbing cream because he was doing.
Well, the chest is one of the more sensitive areas of your body.
It was very
to get a
sensitive.
tattoo.
So, Tim, how many tests do you have, Tim?
What?
How many tests do you have?
Fuck, dude. Well,
Take it off.
Well, no, I don't have any beyond the shoulders. So what you see is what I have.
The beyond, like the whole like LED sunburn area.
Tim's not hiding any. He's got them all exposed.
No,
right,
they're all out.
Yeah.
No, I don't have like any on my back or my chest. I wanted to do the full.
I like my hiding one right here.
I wanted to do full quarter sleeves, where they like come over your shoulders and then down onto your chest. But it's all that,
it is.
right?
It's expensive.
Yeah, and it's even more expensive nowadays unless you know somebody.
Right.
Well, my whole forearm is actually an entire drawing. It's Merlin. It's kind of like a Merlin. It's hard to show on here. It's maybe I can stand up. It's like a Merlin on my forearm, and then he's like in his dungeon, doing his spell book, and goes all the way around. And then I have, it's kind of like like a serpent and a pirate, kind of happening there, and then a.
Where does Tim live, John?
Atlanta.
Well, I grew up in the DC area all my life. So
is it pretty expensive there for tattoos?
I haven't gotten any in Atlanta. All mine were done by the same guy in Virginia, and I knew him since high school.
I think my chest was like $1,500.
Yeah, it's not cheap. I mean, I think
that's what I paid for my.
The going rate when I was younger.
This was a couple $100 just for this.
Jesus, that's expensive.
I mean, there's
minimum labor. $35.
Yeah, but I mean, you can get like
my whole
$35.
Little one.
The one
little ones. Yeah.
Not that cheap out here.
Was $125.
Yeah, not that cheap out here in California.
When they're little like that, it's cheap.
Yeah, when you're getting huge pieces, you're gonna.
My whole chest is done from side to side.
Yeah.
Well, and it depends on whether
And
you're
it's
doing it in one
extremely
sitting or
detailed.
how many sittings was it, Mike? Did one sitting
3.
or multiple? 3 sittings, yeah.
I had
two
like
5-hour sessions and 1 3-hour.
Yeah.
I have a funny story to tell you.
Ouch.
So my
It's a
second
long time with the bee stinging, isn't it?
Oh,
John,
you have no
John,
idea.
at the point where you're like you've been beat up for like 3.5, 4 hours, you're like really not feeling much at that point, unless they stay in one area.
John's would only take like an hour, hour and a half, and so that's why I say if he did the numbing cream, he'd be fine.
Yeah, don't
like
push
mine
out.
would. The numbing
Don't
cream
push
lasted
out.
for
Trunk
about
travel,
2 hours, and then the last hour was the worst because he would do all the outlining with the white ink.
Yeah.
And when you do the white ink, it's not a shading needle where it's like multiple short ones. It's like a couple long ones.
Yep.
And he would be doing all the outlining where he had art where everything was already healing, like because he'd been doing it for 4 hours.
It already beat up once. Now
it was already sore. Like
Yeah.
he's been doing it for 4 hours. So it's it's like going and scratching yourself, waiting 3 hours, and then start itching it.
Yeah.
Like it's the last hour was extremely painful for me.
Well, those girls get them on their back. The tramp stamp. That's bone.
Well, that's kind of a
but bone isn't as bad. People think bone's bad. Bone isn't bad.
Well, how about on the top of the foot? That seems like it'd be a painful spot to get one too.
Bone. They say that's very sensitive.
Yeah.
I have a lot of friends that have gotten like the top of the foot, but
they say that's one of the most sensitive places. I think the thing is I would say the just skin in muscle in certain areas are more sensitive because I've had
get in the inside of the arm like that.
Yeah,
that hurts.
like that. That's super sensitive. My back has been done, and my spine didn't bother me. It just felt weird. It was like a numbing feeling.
So
and the same thing with my sternum. When he got too high on my neck, it felt like he was literally tattooing like my Adam's apple.
Really?
And it felt weird, but it didn't hurt.
So have you guys seen the movie Mall Cop? Like the first one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Paul Blart.
So I went to that movie in the theater with my parents and my second ex-fiance. My parents didn't know this at the time, but my ex-fiance had a similar tattoo that he had gotten many years beforehand. So the movie comes out and they're talking about all this stuff. He goes out, he gets drunk with his friends, and he shows this like big bird tattoo on his back. And we're sitting there, and my dad looks at him, and he was like, "Oh my God, it's you!" Because he's got this big bird on his back, and he's like this big freaking fat dumb pile of bleh that I'm glad I didn't marry. And we're laughing our asses off because that entire movie, it was all him. That tattoo came out, I thought we were gonna die. We were laughing so hard.
That's funny. Yep.
Well, I still like the what's that one with the guy gets the tattoo? Oh, Robin Williams, and he's suntan and it's supposed to say free man, but it says what did it say on it? Missile lead or something like that, where he got over suntan and all that crap.
That's my worst fear, to get a tattoo artist that misspelled words.
Oh, I have a buddy that did that on his chest.
Yeah.
He put a Bible verse and he had one letter wrong.
Oh,
I think he added a letter. It was horrible.
Well, that's the thing. Like when I see guys with tattoos with their girlfriend's names on there, and it's
that's just idiotic.
Yeah,
Don't do that.
I mean,
that's stupid.
You just branded yourself for life.
I have a buddy, and his son in high school, right after he graduated high school, got his girlfriend's name right here on the inside of his arm, Gabriella.
At least you can cover it.
And then they break up a year later. I'm like, okay, Ryan, what are you gonna do? So like he turned it into like a sword.
Yeah. Or he could have just looked for another girl named Adriana.
Gabriella,
Gabriella.
They got the online thing now. Looking for a Gabriella.
Works at the North Dakota Zoo, right by Brian's house.
That's funny. Yeah, names of people is so stupid. I've known a couple of people that did that, and I'm like,
yeah, I mean, if you're doing
you're
like,
an idiot.
Unless it's like your kid or something,
well,
Yeah,
but,
that's different.
your mom, your dad, something
Yeah.
like that. That's,
Like my mom got my dad's like just recently. She got his name on her ankle, but I mean they've been married for 35 years and
yeah,
they're not getting divorced. So
right, of course.
yeah,
That's totally
so
different.
I'm like after 35 years, I think you're allowed to do that.
You're safe after that.
Has anyone seen the Norman Rockwell painting with the sailor with all the girlfriends' names on his arm?
No.
It's a classic one where it's a sailor. I think it's a sailor. It's either a sailor or like army or something like that. And he's at the tattoo shop, and it's just a painting like and he's got like 10 girls' names down his arm, and like each previous one just has a line through it. It's down his whole entire arm.
Just kept crossing them off. Huh?
Yeah,
Brandon,
just cross them out and write a new one. Cross them out and write a
stupid.
new one.
No regrets, bro.
No
Yeah,
regret.
No regrets.
No regrets.
I think is the
Not
tattoo.
even one. Not one letter.
Yeah. I think, I mean, of course, I mean, John and well, the majority of us here came up in a time period when I think when we were in our youth able to get tattoos, like legally, right? It was still a big piece of taboo. Like, I mean, parents were just vehemently against it.
Oh yeah,
the workplace
freaked out,
just the workplace wanted nothing to do with it. I mean, it was nowadays it's like people are all up in the neck and their face and their friggin' below their eye or on their eyebrow. And I'm not saying that I disagree with that. I'm just saying I feel like we've graduated a little bit now where people can be far more liberal.
Or even stenciling the private parts, it's like that's gotta hurt.
Yeah, I mean, at this stage in the game, it's unlikely you're going to get a corporate job with some real serious body modifications and things like that.
Physical, or visible in a suit, you're probably not getting.
There's a lot of older people that are starting to get them that never had it their whole lives. Which is
I know my daughter had one above her neck, and then when she started, getting older, working corporate and stuff, she actually had it removed because when she wears her hair up now, because back then it was always down, she could hide it, but now in corporate she's got to wear her hair up more, and she could see the tattoo.
Yeah,
so she ended up getting that one removed.
I think the irony for me in the corporate world, though, is that in a lot of cases, especially mine, I mean, I was in logistics and operations, and I didn't really interface with customers and the public. Yes, every now and again we'd have a tour of the warehouse or something like that, and we'd walk people around. But I even went to my boss. Like I had them on my, the upper portion of my arms, but I wanted to get sleeved. And I sent this long
Bob
email.
took off, huh?
What's that?
Bob took off, huh?
Yeah, and I sent this long email to my boss, telling him I wanted to get sleeved, and my boss was like, "Oh, dude, I don't give a shit." He was like, "I'm a NRA carrying, gun owner. You can do whatever you want. It's free America." And then my VP came back and he's like, "Hey, can I come by and stop by your office and talk to you?" And I'm like, "Oh shit, this is serious. Maybe I shouldn't have sent that email." And he came in and he shut my door, and he's like, and he gave me a dual speech. He's like, "As your VP of operations," he's like, "frankly, I really don't care what you do with your body, as long as it's not like anything on your face or your." And I'm like, "Bro, I'm not gonna go there. It's like that's just not me anyway." But then he's like, but then as Bernie, like the father, I have to, say, well, if you go and get all that stuff, it could hamper you down the line, like that old dad speech that you got, and I mean, they were fine with it, but I just think that, then, in a lot of ways, we've gotten a little bit further than, we had before with tattoos and piercings and things.
Yeah, I mean, I got this. This is probably, I don't know, 16, 17 years old, right?
Yeah. What do you think is worse? What do you think is worse, a piercing or a tattoo?
Neither.
As far as pain wise, or
you mean for like in the workplace? Brian?
what I'm saying is so like if say Mike decides to get a tat in his whole entire back, that pain is gonna be far superior than a one single
No,
piercing.
piercings would not be nearly as
But
painful.
but a piercing is something that can heal up and you can take out and then just get rid of if you want to eventually.
Right. Unless you get the ear saucers,
Right, right.
The spacers.
So all of mine, I have 4 in total.
Don't you get your tongue pierced?
Yeah. My tongue was my first one pierced ever, because my thought period was, if I got my tongue pierced, I get anything else pierced, because the tongue is a major muscle in everything that you want to do in life. Really, like you have to eat with it. You can do whatever else you want with it. You're gonna like playing with it if you ever want to, because it's something new in your mouth, and if it's done wrong, you can get paralyzed. So yeah, so
what's
I'm like,
what's the point of the question though?
So my point is if I got that, then I can handle any other piercing I got.
Okay.
So my
pain wise,
right? Pain, yeah, everything wise. I ate soft foods for probably about a month.
I heard it's a really painful one to do.
My first, say, 4 to 5 days, I actually had to take foods and lie on my back and actually put them in my mouth and just swallow. I could not chew. That's how. Like,
but but you're apples to oranges, right? You're saying pain wise. I mean, you pierce your tongue or something like that. I mean, yeah, if you're going to put it in such a sensitive area of your body, I mean, what are we left to expect? You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't question. I'm not questioning that it was painful.
Is it pain or discomfort? I mean, you get to a pain.
Well, it'd be a lot of discomfort. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's the difference between pain and discomfort.
Right, but I mean, most people, like when they get a tattoo, anywhere that they get a tattoo, except for certain areas, is going to be not as discomfortable.
Well, no, wait. I think there's a difference in the application, though. Okay, so can you please describe for us the experience of getting your tongue pierced? Did you scream in sheer terror because it hurt so bad to get your... Okay, see, and that's what I said. At the point of application, I don't think piercings are nearly as painful than getting a tattoo. Right, because like Mike was explaining his, like, when he got to certain parts of the tattoo, it was worse than others because he started to get to thinner areas of your body where there's more nerve endings and it's a lot more tender, just because it's a general sensitive area of your body. Like, for example, when you get sleeve down lower on your arm or the inside of your arm, like this is a very, like, just pinch yourself here. It's going to hurt. It's going to fucking hurt. Now imagine having somebody there with a set of needles, just jabbing at you for 3 hours in a really sensitive area of your body. That's gonna hurt. But a piercing is probably gonna heal differently. Tattoos to me were like a bad sunburn. Like you got it, and then like a couple days later, it was like you just you sort of had like this tenderized skin that was just sort of like recovering. But a piercing, immediately there's no pain.
Yeah,
but then you have,
for the most part, most piercings are not going to be as painful. I mean, one, like we said, the application is really quick. 2, your tongue was painful for whatever the first 5 days or whatever. You couldn't really.
I wouldn't say it was painful. It was like more of out of the ordinary and
outside of your tongue, where that's one area.
Right.
So where else?
My ears and my eyebrow.
No, I'm saying, but where else is that? Could you even say is even comparable?
Well, that's the reason why I did.
You know what I mean? Tattoos aren't. I mean, piercings aren't going to be as painful.
Right.
In the long run.
Right. That's the reason why I got my tongue done first, because if I can handle that, I'll handle my ears, my eyebrows, like what have you. Like this cannot compare.
It's just like we said. It's very different because it's like he said, it's application. It's quick in and out. With a tattoo like mine, it could be 5 hours, and like I said, the last 45 minutes were extremely painful. I mean, I was literally gripping the bottom of the chair. I felt like I was going to break the bottom of the chair off, and I never felt pain like that before. Yeah. But I couldn't move. I couldn't even move. Like you have to just sit. You literally have to sit there still. You can't move. You can't shake, wiggle, none of that. And that went on for 45 minutes.
Right, and I've actually been through that pain factor, just not with a tattoo.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So it's completely different. I feel like they're both completely different.
What was it? A year and a half ago or so, I had it was a abscess in it was like my left butt cheek, up towards like the tail end of like your spine cord, and they had to dig in and use Lanacaine on their way in to get it out. It was the size of a golf ball, and I was actually
They didn't even numb the area.
No, as they went in, they would dig in, and then they would Lanacaine in until I would scream in pain, and then Lanacaine more until I felt pain, and they kept going in more. That's what happened. It was deep enough to where I was really, really close to surgery, and that pain there, as you dug into somebody to get something out, was very painful comparatively to a tattoo.
Oh, I'm sure it was.
No, absolutely.
I'm sure it definitely was. I mean, like I said, and it's all different for different people. Some people tattoos don't bother them as much. Yep. But like I said, like with me, that's why I think it's funny. Like I have a buddy that makes fun of me for it, because he says tattoos don't bother him. But I'm like, dude, literally, like if I right now take and scratch my shoulder just a little bit, my skin will turn red. And you'll see where I scratched myself. I can't help that my skin's sensitive. Like, that's just the way my body is.
My skin.
Did you get a tattoo on your penis?
Why would you do that?
Put money on it so you can watch it grow.
So is a letter spacing? How do they space it out? Like relaxed or erect? You know?
Yeah, you got to take a. But the thing is if you take like Viagra and go in there and do it, then it's just all the blood's there, so it's just.
Is it a little kitty and then it's a lion when he gets bigger, or what? Right?
Yeah, it just goes Johnny.
Right. So with me, like since I'm up here, like
John when it's soft, Johnny when it's hard.
Jonathan when it's done, right?
Just Jon, and then it's all of a sudden it's Johnny.
Yeah. So up here I actually have
to Jonathan. What's wrong with this?
There's nothing wrong with us. Absolutely not. It's called pain. Pain is good. So like with me, like I actually have like a couple of skin.
We don't know what's wrong with us.
It's right. It's I have one called eczema. Like another one, like I get sunburned very quickly, very fast. And I don't
know. In the tub for 12 hours.
John, what do you have? You don't have eczema, right?
Psoriasis. Yeah.
Psoriasis and eczema are very similar.
Yeah,
very similar. Except for medications for both of them actually counteract each other.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I totally understand that. Mine's stress induced.
Yeah.
Where I learned that when I was a kid.
Remission, so I haven't had any issues for a while.
Yeah, same here. Like I haven't had anything for like 20 years maybe or so. But anyways, out in the sun stuff, I get sunburned very quickly.
No one takes here.
Right. So with tattoos, I compare that to sunburns because they're very similar in that whole like pain factor wise.
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah. See, that's the difference between a piercing and a tattoo.
Yeah, but that doesn't really address the pain threshold.
Yeah.
So, like the vast majority of my tattoos, I wasn't phased at all. Like even on the inside of my arm, when everyone was like, "Oh, that part's gonna fucking hurt," this actually didn't hurt nearly as much as the lower forearm, where he was doing a lot of layering and coloring. And he was on that bitch for like 3 hours. Repeat tattooing on top of color on color on color.
Right.
And I felt like a fucking piece of tenderized meat. Like I was like, I cannot wait until he's fucking done right now.
Oh yeah.
He's trying to offer me pizza and like tell me to drink some water, bro.
You're like, dude, get.
And I'm like, dude, just can you finish that part and then we can move on. And but you have to sit there and deal with it. I mean, what are you gonna fucking do?
But yeah, some piercings you do have to, like in certain areas, you have to take care of. Like when girls get the dermals and all that bullshit, you got to take care of it. But
hardest healing part of a tattoo was right here in the fold of your arm.
Well, yeah, because you keep moving.
Oh my god, it's like, what am I supposed to do? Walk around looking like I'm raising my hand for like the next?
It literally
week,
does scab up.
Oh yeah, it scabs, and that's the thing is that you have, but they have different methodologies now. Like back in the day, it was like, okay, they put a little bit of a bandage on you and sent you home with some Neosporin or something, or
Neosporin, and they put shrink wrap around.
Well, yeah. Now they want you to keep the area moist so it doesn't scab up so fast. So it actually heals up in a little bit of a different way. So
which that's what was hard for me is it was summertime and I was working.
Yeah.
So I literally the next day had to go to work,
the shirt on,
with the shirt on, and I had to try to keep it,
moist.
keep
loose, moist and loose on your body.
I had to put shrink wrap or whatever, saran wrap, because I don't want my shirt sticking to it.
Yeah.
Right.
And I had to keep it moist while I'm working a 12-hour day in the sun. And the other part is I'm a stomach sleeper. So I literally had to try to fall asleep on my back, and I've slept on my stomach my whole life.
Your tattoo goes all around your back and in your front, right? You don't have nothing on your stomach, do you, Mike?
No. But
right?
But when I got my chest done, I had to sleep on my back.
Yeah.
So it was just hard to fall asleep because my back was easy because I just slept without covers on.
Yeah.
But when I got my chest done, for a week or so, I had to sleep on my back, and so it's not terrible, but it's just I've slept on my stomach for 30 years, so
Ryan, you're the only one with piercings, right, in the group?
I used to have my
I had my ears pierced.
I had
my ears gauged, but
I never had anything pierced. So
I have 3 holes in one.
So I had my ears gauged when I was younger.
So
for like a year.
So here's my thing with tats is that when I was younger, I had actually on my back, I actually had a really bad sunburn, and my folks actually put aloe vera on my back, and then I put my shirt back on. So they're like, okay, let's just put your shirt back on. Well, I was in my shirt for a good few hours, like 3-4 hours, whatever. What happened was my shirt actually stuck to my back with the aloe vera. And so they actually had to peel the shirt off my back on the sunburn to get my shirt off.
Yeah, that must have hurt.
That was super painful, as you can believe. Like from then
Well, that was a mistake to put your shirt back on because never do that.
I didn't think about it. They didn't think about it at all, to be honest.
No. Every time I went to the lake every year, if I got sunburned on my back, I never put your shirt back on.
Never thought about it like that. I was like 10 years old when this happened.
Well, at least if you're gonna put the shirt on, you need to wet it.
Yeah, and nobody thought about how to get it off or anything else like that. And what happened was, a good 4 to 5 hours into it, we kind of realized that I just hopped in like a bathtub with my shirt on to try see what.
That's the first thing I would have said.
Didn't think about it. The best thing in my opinion was if I left it on and sat in a chair, things are fine. Leave me be. And I'm gonna figure it out from there. I didn't know how long this would last. I didn't know why it was happening. I had no clue at that time. My folks had no understanding what was going on because I didn't tell them like what was going on because I'm like, my back hurts. I just want to sit, and that was it. But apparently that was the issue. And what happened was I ended up going up into a bathtub and just sitting with my shirt on and just lying in there waiting for it to release so I could actually take my shirt off.
Right.
But every time I move, the shirt would pull the aloe vera, which would pull the skin, which is on a sunburn. And it was not like a simple sunburn. It was like a red hot, like a really bad sunburn.
Yeah. Well,
it was pretty bad. That was
rule of thumb with tattoos though is that you're not supposed to expose them to the sun for very long.
Yeah, for sure.
When I say a tattoo,
I got guys that are sleeved like you are, Kim,
Yeah.
But they'll wear the full length, full arm T-shirts.
Well, the
when
sun
we're
will
working
just
outside.
naturally fade them.
The sun will fade the ink.
Yeah, so that's why this one, 16, 17 years old, is still black. I mean, I put lotion on it every day, but it's pretty much covered.
It's covered, yeah. Exactly.
Well, yeah, covering it certainly will save you.
It will definitely fade the ink if you don't.
Yeah, and they naturally fade anyway over time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of people go and get touch-ups or cover-ups or something at some point in the game.
Yeah, and I just got the black because it's just easier to color back in if it needs to be because it's just.
And the inks and the needles are a lot better nowadays too. So the technology is advanced to the point where they're. Fuck! They got systems now
Looking
that are
at my
air-driven.
grandpa's tattoo, it fucking looks like a prison tattoo.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty soon it's going to be like a 3D printer. You just lay down on the table and this computer's just going to come down and just.
I'm kind of waiting for that,
But so with me up here, like I have to actually have a sunburn, and then after that I'll tan. Like that's why my body works. So like when spring comes around or whatever, like I'll go outside and like a crop top or whatever, and like just go outside and just let myself burn. And
a crop top? You mean a tank top?
Tank top,
wife beater. It's wife beater.
Oh, yeah.
Brian still wears half shirts.
I was gonna say, I hope Brian's not wearing a crop top.
Like no shirt, whatever. I don't care. As long as I get sunburn after that, like just give myself like a few days, and after that, it's nothing but a tan. Everyone's different, like how their bodies work, but that's how I learned. Like if I want to get a tan, just burn first and then tan after.
What's your heritage, Brian? What are you?
White.
I'm like 1/16 native, and then
okay. I mean, what are you like dominantly? I don't need to know that you're 1/16
I'm a
native.
mix of everything. I'm literally a mutt.
He's a mutt.
I can get so suntan. I gotta just look out the window and go, it's sunny. I got a tan.
Yeah, we can see.
Bruce has that George Harrison gene.
Yeah,
or is that his name? Whatever, that actor guy that was always like golden
I'm white,
brown.
but I tan well because
Hamilton.
There you go, that guy.
Yeah. I mean, I literally got to walk outside, open the door, hit the sun, hit me, and I can walk away with a suntan. So.
Yeah, I get dark.
Yeah,
I go to Mexico.
Like my arms and my neck and my face during summertime because I'm out in the sun 10 hours a day.
Yeah,
I get darker than hell. The back of my neck will be like black almost.
I go down to Mexico, right? They come back because I'm down. They'll talk every language but English to me as I'm trying to get back on the plane. I go, no, man, I'm a Caucasian white guy. Oh, see, funny, yeah, white. Well, really, I am.
Yeah, I get.
Senor, step out of line. We're going to pat you down.
Dude, I was working construction before my wedding. I was down to 160 pounds, and I was actually very tan for my wedding. The sad part is I actually had the eyeglasses marked on my head for the wedding.
Oh, yeah,
John, you look like you spray tan.
No, that's just straight up tan. That's what happens.
Hope's got a nice tan
You
there.
could actually stop showing us pictures of Nicolas Cage and show us a picture of yourself.
Yeah, that was me.
No, that's not you.
That's me.
John, he knows it's you.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Mike's got a point.
He knows. Yeah, I get if I go out, I get dark.
Mike, are you in construction?
I always like.
I build boxes I build wooden boxes to ship like art in.
Oh.
Like paintings and marble and glass and stuff.
Right.
It's Nick Cage and Mike.
There's Mike. Young Mike.
Yeah, that was when I had my gauges in still.
Yeah.
Young Mike.
If you don't grow out the gauges out too far, they'll actually heal.
No, that's bullshit.
Well, heal to a point. It's not going to be fully healed.
Mine, I didn't even. I the biggest I got was like a number 2 pencil, and mine are like I have a hole in my ear, both of them.
Yeah, but it's not going to fully heal.
No, I'm saying I have a straight hole. Like I could probably still stick like
Right, but what I'm saying is like
I could probably get a straw through it.
So it never really
right.
closed.
So you're
It
looking
would
at
know.
Yeah.
It didn't really close much at all.
Would you say like a 10 to 8 gauge, if not more?
It was like I think it was I can't remember if it was an 8 or a 10. It was literally I don't think it wasn't any bigger than a pencil.
That's not that big.
I know that's what I'm telling you.
Yeah, because my eyebrow is a 14, 12.
Yeah, I think I was an 8 or I don't remember. It was either 10 or an 8. I want to say an 8.
Yeah, that's not that big
But
though.
like I still have like I'm not even kidding. I could stick not a pencil through it anymore, but it's probably I could probably stick a 12 gauge in there, no problem.
See, I've had my piercings out for 2 years.
I thought about getting it closed up, like going and getting surgery.
I wouldn't do that really.
I thought about doing it because I hate the way
if it hasn't closed up by now, it won't close up.
I know. Well, unless you got surgery,
right?
And I hate the way it looks.
Yeah. So for me, like, I can take all my piercings off for like 2 years and put them all back in. Everything's fine except for this ear. And this ear right here, I have to push through like a bit more than the other ones. It might not have done properly, maybe. I'm not sure, but that's the one I always have problems with. Otherwise,
my biggest problem was
5 years, put it back in, not a problem.
I gauged them immediately. Like I didn't.
Oh yeah.
I didn't get a piercing. I think it was a 14, probably.
So your ears are going back to where they were gauged at the start.
I think they might even be a little bit bigger than that.
Because the reason for that is because when they pierce it, it's a hollow needle because they take that chunk of skin out, and then they put the
that's why I think they didn't close
it doesn't
up more.
feel in, right? And all mine have been actually that way, same exact way. So like I always like all of mine are 14, 14, 12. But,
I was an idiot.
Right, but in all the rest of them, if I want to gauge them up, I just keep the 14s in for a while and take them back out and put a 12 in and let that heal up and then gauge up slowly from there.
Yeah. I've thought about
what I do with my tongue though.
I've thought about looking into getting it done because I hate it. Like it's very visible.
Yeah, so my tongue actually got that up to a 10 or 8, and then I left that in there. And then what I did is, if I take it out, it closes down to a 14 max, and that's it. The hole is still there. It's not going to go away.
Nope.
So, yeah.
I got no holes.
Only the ones God gave you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I wouldn't have done it. I was young.
All right, kids, we're done. 3 hours and 40 minutes. I know what time it is for Tim. Tim, what time is it? Like 1:30?
No, he's got almost 2. We got like 20 minutes. It's okay.
Yeah,
10:40 here.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you again. Great show.
Yeah.
So, John, we doing this cigar and port thing next Friday, right?
Yeah, cigar. Yeah. Hey, Mike, do you want to go? There's one seat left.
For what?
winery.
It's the winery, cigar and port.
On Friday or Saturday?
Friday night.
What is it? Friday night?
Friday night.
Yeah, it's a Friday.
Before the show?
No, we won't be here for the show.
We won't be here for the show. We'll be busy drinking wine and
smoking cigars.
Smoking cigars.
Who is we?
Me and John, Joe,
Bruce, Joe. I don't know who else is going.
Randy's going.
Randy's going.
Yeah, I think he booked a table for 6, so I know we got at least 4 right now. So
one seat left, Mike, if you want to go.
Where is it?
It's at Jesse's Grove in Lodi.
No idea. Oh, in Lodi. What time? Do you know what time it's at?
Starts at 7, goes to 7 to 10, I believe.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Cigars they give you, Bruce.
They give you you can do all the pour samplings, and then I get to choose one cigar.
So
used to be you had to buy it, but I think they actually provide it to you now because it's $30 a person.
Yeah,
but they have appetizers and food, and I mean, it's more social distancing than it was back in the earlier days when we used to do it, where they had the big bonfire going and you'd walk around chumming with all the crap and stuff like that. I mean, I think people are still going to do it, but they have like assigned seatings where you've got, you know, four people seats, 6 people seats. It's not necessarily the stage what looks like the social distancing, but I think they you still mill around and do shit. So, but and they have music usually.
So are you doing the show from there then, or what?
Yeah, that would be hilarious.
That'll go over really well.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, right.
Mike only smokes Cuban cigars.
Well, they have every kind of cigar there. I'm sure they get. I don't know.
I don't even smoke cigars. Period. I don't smoke cigars. Period.
Well, and then you get it. I mean, you don't literally. I mean,
well, I mean, I'm just saying, like I have before. I don't mind it, but it's
you don't
not something
inhale.
I do.
Don't inhale a cigar. That'll turn you green.
No.
Yeah, but they're matched with the wine, so they're usually the cigars aren't going to be something that are you wouldn't match with a certain wine. So
we used to bring our own up because some of the guys would bring the big giant stogies, and I mean I would bring just the medium cigar up. You know, I didn't look like a Jimmy Durante trying to smoke a
I just
monster
want
thing
to look like Tony Soprano.
Yeah,
just go have a glass of wine and a big old fucking stogie and talk about whacking guys and
then there's some pretty girls there too. I mean, there used to be some pretty girls there. So
look, you got Mike. You got Mike intrigued now.
Are you supposed to like dress up or
smoking
like
cigars?
What do you guys normally like? What does everybody like? Is it like a button up kind of thing?
Oh no, it's casual.
It's casual. Yeah, California casual.
California casual, man.
Yeah.
Fuck does that mean?
But jeans.
Jeans.
So apparently I had
polo.
So apparently I had an off-top question for Mike. Apparently,
I mean, it's a little bit. You know, you want it's outside, so you want to have something a little heavier to wear because you're not indoors. So
yeah.
But I mean, I usually bring my jacket, my leather jacket, and a sweater or something like that. You know, and I have my jeans and my boots on. And, you know.
So apparently, me and Brandon, Britt were talking. Apparently, like he told me that you don't like Mr. Bean or Pee Wee Herman.
Who?
Mr. Bean or Pee Wee Herman?
Yeah, you do not like both of them.
I don't know why he would say that.
Oh, he said that. He said,
just fucking around.
Ask Mike. I'm like, what's wrong with Mr. Bean? He is hilarious. So
I don't even know who the fuck Mr. Bean is.
He's the English actor guy, the comedy guy.
Mr. Bean is hilarious. Like he is he's like a silent actor. And does nothing but actions and like whatever.
Oh,
like
I have no idea who that is.
Hilarious guy.
He's played a couple of them like the spoof off of like he's like 007.
Yeah,
you know, he's got a couple of movies where he's
Well, you think about it. Let me know, Mike. If you
he's like
what time would what time would we leave here? Like 6 or something?
Yeah, probably, huh, Bruce?
Yeah, I mean, I think Joe will have like a meet. Most time we meet up at Joe's and figure out how many cars we're taking up and all that crap. So
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you could either come up with us. You probably come up or take your own car, but you go see your parents after.
Yeah.
Well, my parents are 65 years old. They're not going to be up at 10:30.
Oh, that's right.
Hey, watch that comment.
Hey, my parents, my married for 35 years, parents will be in bed. You're single, Bruce. It's different.
Single and 62. Yeah, I guess I'm not that over the
hill.
Yeah,
Bruce at 10:30.
You're not
fucking right.
If you were married, you'd probably be in bed by 10:30 too.
I probably wouldn't be here.
All right, fellas.
All right, guys.
All right, night, guys.
All right, everybody have a good night. And
good.
see everybody next time.
Later, viewers.
Bye-bye.